You found the Stealth Podcast. Tonight, we'll travel through dark and lonely stories. Where in the world are you watching from? What time is it there? Subscribe and leave your like to support us. Let's begin. My name is Caleb Wright. I'm 29 years old, and I live in Seattle, Washington. I've been working as a freelance photographer for the past 5 years, specializing in landscape and wildlife photography. 8 months ago, I decided to invest in a used Mercedes Sprinter and convert it into a livable space that would allow me to travel to remote locations and shoot at the perfect times, dawn and dusk, when the light creates magic. The van isn't fancy, just functional. A bed platform with storage underneath, a basic kitchen setup with a portable stove, and a makeshift bathroom solution for emergencies. From the outside, it looks like a work van, which is perfect for stealth camping in urban areas between my wilderness destinations. I've been traveling through the Southwest for 3 months when I decided to explore Texas. The state's diverse landscapes promised a wealth of photographic opportunities, from the pine forests of East Texas to the stark beauty of Big Bend. My plan was to spend about 3 weeks zigzagging across the state, hitting various state parks and wilderness areas. I'd already had success stealth camping in other states, usually finding quiet industrial areas or remote pull-offs where I could park overnight without drawing attention. After crossing the state line from New Mexico, I spent my first few nights in the Davis Mountains, officially camping at the state park before moving on to more populated areas. As I headed east, I grew more confident in my stealth camping abilities, finding quiet spots outside small towns where I could park for the night without being noticed. The routine became familiar. Work on editing photos during the day at local coffee shops or libraries, scout locations for sunset shoots, find a place to sleep, wake up for sunrise photography, and move on. The freedom was intoxicating. In Fredericksburg, I found a perfect spot behind an abandoned warehouse on the edge of town. I'd been there 2 nights without incident when I noticed an older model truck driving slowly past my location multiple times. On the 3rd pass, the driver stopped and stared directly at my van for several long moments before driving away. Something about his deliberate attention sent a chill down my spine. I told myself it was nothing, probably just a curious local, but I moved spots that night anyway, finding an empty church parking lot on the other side of town. The next morning, I woke to the sound of knocking on my van door. I froze, heart pounding, hoping whoever it was would assume the van was empty and leave. The knocking came again, more insistent this time, followed by a man's voice. "Department of Public Safety. Please open up." My mind raced. I wasn't doing anything illegal, was I? Texas didn't have explicit laws against sleeping in vehicles as far as I knew. With shaking hands, I pulled on a sweater and slid open the door to find a uniformed officer standing there, hand resting casually on his holster. "Got some reports of a suspicious vehicle," he said, looking past me into the van. "Mind telling me what you're doing here?" I explained I was a photographer traveling through the area, showing him my camera equipment as proof. He seemed satisfied but warned me that locals were on edge about strangers in unmarked vans. "Might want to use proper campgrounds while you're in these parts," he advised before leaving. I nodded agreement, but inwardly calculated how quickly the cost of campgrounds would eat through my budget if I couldn't stealth camp occasionally. Later that morning at a local diner, I overheard 2 men discussing van people with unmistakable hostility. They think they can just roll into town, park wherever they want, use our resources without contributing, one said. Dave caught one dumping their toilet in the creek last month. I kept my head down, suddenly aware of how I might be perceived, not as a harmless photographer, but as an unwelcome intruder. The conversation shifted to more disturbing territory when the second man mentioned how they'd run off a couple of Vanlifers last week by making them feel unwelcome. The way he said it suggested methods more intimidating than just cold shoulders. As I left the diner, I noticed the same truck from the night before parked across the street. The driver, a weathered man in his 60s with a permanent scowl, watched me walk to my van. When I started the engine, he did the same. For the next 20 minutes, as I drove through town gathering supplies, the truck maintained a careful distance behind me. I tried several turns to confirm I was being followed, and each time, the truck appeared in my rearview mirror. By the time I left Fredericksburg heading south, my hands were shaking on the steering wheel. I was suddenly very aware of how vulnerable I was, alone in an unfamiliar state where some locals seemed to view people like me with suspicion or outright hostility. I drove south for hours, putting as much distance as possible between myself and Fredericksburg. The truck eventually disappeared from my rearview mirror, but the sense of unease lingered. I decided to head for San Antonio, reasoning that I could blend in more easily in a larger city. The anonymity of urban areas had always been an advantage for stealth camping. Just another van among thousands, nothing to draw attention. By late afternoon, I reached the city outskirts and began scouting potential overnight spots in industrial areas. I settled on a quiet street lined with warehouses that appeared to be closed for the weekend. Several commercial vehicles were already parked there, a good sign that no one would look twice at my van. I went through my usual evening routine. Window covers up, minimal movement inside, no lights visible from outside. After editing photos for a couple of hours, I made a simple dinner and settled in for the night, exhausted from the day's tension. Sleep came uneasily. Around 2 a.m., I woke to the sound of footsteps circling my van. I lay completely still, barely breathing, as I heard someone testing the door handles. The doors were locked, but the knowledge that someone was trying to get in sent panic coursing through me. After what seemed like an eternity, the footsteps retreated. I waited another hour before cautiously peering through a crack in my window covering. The street appeared empty, but I noticed something disturbing. A crude symbol spray painted on the pavement next to my van. A circle with an X through it. When morning came, I left immediately, not even stopping for coffee. At a gas station 20 miles outside San Antonio, I searched online for information about van life harassment in Texas. What I found was troubling, a pattern of incidents across the state, particularly targeting solo travelers. Some were clearly crimes of opportunity, break-ins for valuable equipment, but others seemed motivated by territorial hostility. In one forum, someone shared a photo of the exact symbol I'd seen by my van, claiming it was used to mark vehicles for targeting. I debated abandoning my Texas photography plans altogether, but I'd invested too much time and money to give up so easily. Instead, I decided to adjust my approach, stay at official campgrounds when possible, park only in well-lit areas with security cameras when in cities, and remain vigilant. My next planned stop was Corpus Christi and the Gulf Coast, where I hoped the more tourist-friendly atmosphere would mean less hostility toward nomadic travelers. The drive to Corpus Christi was uneventful, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every time a pickup truck appeared in my mirrors, my heart rate spiked. I caught myself checking for followers constantly, sometimes pulling over just to see if anyone would pass by too slowly. The hypervigilance was exhausting. By the time I reached the coast, I was desperate for a night of secure sleep, so I splurged on an actual campground with electric hookups and shower facilities. At the campground office, I chatted with the manager while registering, casually asking if she'd heard about any trouble with people targeting van dwellers. Her expression darkened immediately. "Where did you hear about that?" she asked, her friendly demeanor suddenly guarded. I mentioned the incident in San Antonio, careful not to sound paranoid. She glanced around before leaning closer. "Listen, there's been some incidents. Nothing official, nothing in the news, but word gets around. Solo travelers especially. They've had break-ins, vandalism, worse. Some folks around here don't take kindly to people they see as not having proper routes." That night, despite the relative security of the campground, I slept with my keys and phone in hand. The manager's warning played on repeat in my mind. The next morning, I noticed a familiar-looking truck pulling into the campground. Not the same one from Fredericksburg, but similar enough to trigger my anxiety. The driver, a middle-aged man in a camo cap, made deliberate eye contact as he drove past my sight. Nothing overtly threatening, just the kind of look that says, "I see you, and I know what you are." I spent the day photographing the coastline, constantly looking over my shoulder. When I returned to the campground that evening, I found a note tucked under my windshield wiper. In block handwriting, it read, "We don't want your kind here. Move on." My hands trembled as I read it. There was no signature, no direct threat, but the message was clear enough. I showed it to the campground manager, who looked troubled but not surprised. "I'd move to a different campground if I were you," she advised. "Maybe head up toward Austin, more progressive attitudes there." I followed her advice, packing up immediately and driving north as darkness fell. The decision to drive at night went against my usual safety protocols, but staying put felt more dangerous. Every set of headlights in my mirror became a potential threat. By midnight, exhaustion forced me to pull over at a rest area just south of Austin. I parked under a bright light near the restroom building, where state troopers frequently patrolled. Still, I barely slept, jerking awake at every sound and vehicle arrival. First light found me back on the road, heading into Austin with bloodshot eyes and frayed nerves. I'd arranged to meet another photographer at a coffee shop, someone I'd connected with online who had offered to show me some local photography spots. Austin was supposed to be different, a progressive island in conservative Texas. But as I navigated the morning traffic, I couldn't help noticing a pickup truck 2 cars behind that seemed to be matching my lane changes. Paranoia or reality? I couldn't tell anymore, and that uncertainty was almost worse than knowing for sure I was being followed. The Austin photographer, Maya, immediately noticed my exhausted state when we met at the coffee shop. After some gentle prodding, I found myself telling her everything. The truck in Fredericksburg, the attempted break-in in San Antonio, the threatening note at the campground. I expected skepticism, but instead, her face grew increasingly serious. "You're not imagining things," she said quietly. "There's a reason many vanlifers avoid certain parts of Texas now. It started as isolated incidents, but it's become more organized, like some twisted community watch program." Maya explained that in the past year, several online groups had formed among Texas locals specifically targeting what they called van vagrants. They shared information about spotting and identifying camper vans that were trying to blend in, and some more extreme members advocated for actively discouraging van life travelers through intimidation. "Most people aren't involved in this," she assured me, "but it only takes a few dedicated individuals to make life miserable for people like you." She offered me a safe place to park for a few nights, her fenced backyard with an electrical hookup. I gratefully accepted, hoping that a few days of security would help me regain my equilibrium. That afternoon, she took me to some beautiful photography locations around Austin, and for a few hours, I almost forgot about the fear that had been my constant companion for days. We returned to her house at sunset, and I parked my van where it would be hidden from the street. Around midnight, I was startled awake by Maya knocking urgently on my van door. "Someone's been asking about you," she whispered when I opened up. "A guy in a truck was driving around the neighborhood, showing people a photo of your van. My neighbor texted me about it." My blood ran cold. How had they found me? Had they followed me to Maya's house? She looked as frightened as I felt. "You should probably go," she said apologetically. "I don't know what these people are capable of, and I can't put my family at risk." I understood completely, but felt a crushing weight of isolation. If they could find me here, where was safe? With shaking hands, I packed up my essential belongings. Maya suggested I head to a specific 24-hour Walmart on the outskirts of Austin, where overnight parking was officially allowed and security was present. I thanked her for the advice and her brief hospitality, then slipped away into the night, constantly checking my mirrors for any sign of following vehicles. The Walmart parking lot was well lit and had several other RVs and vans parked in the designated area. I positioned myself near a security camera, hoping the visibility would provide some protection. Sleep was impossible. I spent the night researching van security systems on my phone and plotting my escape from Texas. The Gulf Coast beaches would have to wait for another trip. My new plan was to head straight north to Oklahoma, where I had friends in Tulsa who could provide a safe harbor. As dawn broke, I ventured inside the Walmart to use the restroom and buy supplies for the journey. When I returned to my van, my heart nearly stopped. Someone had drawn the same circle with X symbol on my driver's side window with what looked like soap or grease pencil. They had found me again. I quickly wiped it off, hands trembling, and started the engine. As I pulled out of the parking space, I noticed a truck idling at the far end of the lot, the same model I'd seen following me before. The driver was on his phone, and as he looked up at my departing van, I saw him start his engine. I took the highway entrance ramp at dangerous speed, desperate to put distance between us. For the next hour, I drove erratically, changing lanes frequently, taking random exits only to get right back on the highway, exceeding the speed limit when I could. Eventually, I convinced myself I'd lost any potential tail and settled into a steady pace northward. The adrenaline crash left me shaky and nauseous, but I couldn't stop. Not in Texas. Not until I crossed the state line. At a gas station near Waco, I pulled in to refuel and gather my thoughts. While waiting for the tank to fill, I checked my van for any signs of tampering or tracking devices, a paranoid action, perhaps, but necessary for my peace of mind. Nothing obvious appeared, but as I was checking the undercarriage, a voice behind me made me jump. "Having trouble with your van?" I whirled around to find an older man watching me with an unreadable expression. He wore a baseball cap with a Texas flag emblem and had the weathered look of someone who spent a lot of time outdoors. "Just routine maintenance," I lied, straightening up quickly. He nodded slowly, eyes moving from me to my license plate and back. "Washington State," he observed. "Long way from home." Before I could respond, he continued, "Saw your rig in Austin yesterday. Been making good time." The casual statement hit me like a physical blow. He knew where I'd been. He, or someone he knew, had been tracking my movements. "Safe travels," he said with a smile that never reached his eyes before walking back to his truck, a newer model than the one I'd seen following me. But the implication was clear. They were coordinating, communicating, passing me from one watcher to the next. I abandoned the gas pump before it was finished, threw money at the attendant, and sped away, heart pounding so hard I could barely breathe. They were everywhere. They were organized, and they had marked me for some reason I couldn't fathom. The highway stretched endlessly ahead as I pushed my van to its limits, desperate to reach the Oklahoma border before nightfall. Every vehicle that stayed behind me for more than a few miles became a potential threat in my mind. I couldn't tell anymore which fears were rational and which were the product of sleep deprivation and stress. When my phone rang, I nearly drove off the road in surprise. It was Maya. "Caleb, are you okay?" Her voice was tight with worry. "Someone came by my house asking questions about you." "Not just any someone, a police officer. He said your van matches the description of one involved in drug trafficking." I told him you were just a photographer passing through, but he kept pressing for details about where you were headed. The revelation sent ice through my veins. Either the officer was legitimate and I'd been mistakenly targeted by law enforcement, or someone was impersonating police to track me. Neither option boded well for my situation. I thanked Maya for the warning and ended the call, my mind racing. If they were involving law enforcement, real or fake, this had escalated beyond simple harassment. I needed to get out of Texas immediately, but I also needed to be smart about it. Getting pulled over now could be disastrous, especially if someone had falsely connected my van to drug activity. I set my cruise control exactly at the speed limit and focused on driving as safely and inconspicuously as possible. As the highway miles rolled by, I formulated a plan. I would avoid the main interstate crossing into Oklahoma, instead taking smaller state highways where there might be less surveillance. I had about 3 hours of daylight left, enough time to reach the border if I didn't stop again. My gas gauge showed half a tank, which would be sufficient. I just needed to stay calm and maintain a low profile. The plan fell apart an hour later when I spotted a police checkpoint ahead on the highway. Multiple patrol cars with flashing lights were stopping vehicles and conducting what appeared to be thorough searches. My throat closed up in panic. With Maya's warning fresh in my mind, I couldn't risk going through that checkpoint. At the last possible moment, I took an exit ramp, earning an angry honk from the car behind me. The exit led to a rural route that meandered through farmland, not my planned route, but it would have to do. The detour cost me precious daylight as I navigated unfamiliar back roads, constantly checking my GPS to ensure I was still heading north. The sun was setting when I noticed a police cruiser pull onto the road behind me. It maintained a consistent distance, not close enough to be obviously following me, but present in my mirrors for mile after mile. When I turned onto another road, it did the same. This wasn't coincidence. Fighting to keep my breathing steady, I continued driving normally while looking for any opportunity to lose my tail. The rural landscape offered few options, mostly straight roads through fields with minimal side streets or businesses. Just as I was considering pulling over and confronting the situation directly, the cruiser's lights flashed on. My stomach dropped as I pulled to the shoulder, hands visibly placed on the steering wheel as I'd been taught. The officer approached slowly, one hand resting on his holster. I rolled down my window, trying to project calm confusion rather than the terror I felt. "License and registration," he said without preamble. I provided them with trembling hands. He studied my Washington license carefully. "You're a long way from home, Mr. Wright. Mind telling me where you're headed in such a hurry?" I explained I was a photographer traveling north to meet friends in Oklahoma. keeping my voice steady despite my racing heart. He nodded, seeming to accept this, then asked, "Anyone else in the vehicle?" When I said no, he replied, "You won't mind if I take a look inside then? We've had reports of a van matching this description involved in trafficking." The request was framed as a statement, not a question. I knew my rights. He needed probable cause or my consent to search the van, but I also knew the reality of power dynamics on isolated roads. "Officer," I said carefully, "I'm not comfortable with a search without a warrant. Have I done something to make you suspicious?" His expression hardened. "Son, I'm going to be straight with you. We know what you van people are up to in our state. Now, you can make this easy, or you can make it difficult. Your choice." In that moment, I made a decision I still question. "I'm sorry, officer, but I do not consent to a search." His jaw tightened as he handed back my documents. "Wait here," he ordered, returning to his cruiser. Through my side mirror, I watched him talking on his radio, occasionally glancing at my van. My mind raced through scenarios, none of them good. If he called for backup, I would be trapped. If I drove away, I'd be immediately pursued for fleeing. I was caught in an impossible situation. Then I noticed something that chilled me further. A pickup truck had pulled up behind the police cruiser. The driver was talking to the officer through his window, both of them looking in my direction. It was the same man from the gas station in Waco. This wasn't a random traffic stop. It was coordinated harassment involving both civilians and law enforcement. The realization crystallized my fears into a single thought. I needed to escape. Now, while they were distracted talking to each other, I slowly reached for my keys, my eyes never leaving the rearview mirror. I started the engine as quietly as possible, immediately putting the van in drive. The moment the officer looked up at the sound, I floored the accelerator, throwing gravel as my tires struggled for purchase on the shoulder before launching onto the asphalt. In my mirror, I saw the officer running toward his vehicle, while the pickup was already pulling onto the road in pursuit. The rural highway stretched before me, straight and empty in the gathering darkness. My van's engine roared as I pushed it harder than I ever had before, the speedometer climbing past 80, 90, approaching 100 miles per hour. The police cruiser's lights appeared in my mirror, gaining ground quickly. The pickup followed close behind it. My GPS showed a fork in the road coming up. The main highway continued straight, while a smaller road branched off into what appeared to be dense woodland. In a split-second decision, I took the turn, nearly losing control as my van tilted dangerously on two wheels before righting itself. The narrower road was poorly maintained and winding, forcing me to reduce speed. I killed my headlights, relying on the last dim light of dusk to navigate while hoping to disappear into the landscape. The gamble paid off momentarily. In my mirrors, I saw the cruiser continue on the main highway, lights still flashing. But the pickup had made the turn, maintaining pursuit without headlights as well. The driver knew these roads better than I did, and my advantage was rapidly disappearing. I rounded a curve and spotted a barely visible dirt track leading into the trees. With no time to hesitate, I turned sharply onto it, branches scraping the sides of my van as the narrow path closed around me. The track quickly deteriorated into little more than a game trail, forcing me to a crawl as my wheels struggled with the uneven terrain. Behind me, I heard the pickup slow and then stop at the entrance to the track. A flashlight beam swept the trees, searching. I continued forward, pushing deeper into the woods, praying the track didn't end in a dead end. After what felt like miles, but was probably only a few hundred yards, the track widened into a small clearing near what appeared to be an abandoned hunting cabin. I cut the engine and sat in total darkness, straining to hear any sound of pursuit. Minutes passed in silence before I heard the distant sound of the pickup's engine revving, then fading. He was leaving, likely to get help or to approach from another angle. Either way, I had a brief window to plan my next move. The cabin might offer shelter, but it also created a potential trap with only one entry point. I decided to continue on foot to scout the area. Grabbing my phone, keys, wallet, and a flashlight, I slipped out of the van and into the woods. Moving carefully to avoid making noise, I discovered the track continued beyond the clearing, eventually connecting to what seemed to be a more established forest road. If I could get my van back to this road, I might find another way out of the woods that my pursuers weren't monitoring. Returning to the van, I started the engine and carefully navigated the remaining section of track to reach the forest road. It was rough going, but the van's clearance was just sufficient. Once on the better road, I consulted my GPS, which showed the forest road eventually connecting to another highway several miles north, potentially bypassing my pursuers if they were focused on the main routes. It was a gamble, but my only viable option. For the next hour, I crept along the forest road with minimal lights, wincing at every bump and crack of branches against the van's sides. The pitch darkness of the woods was occasionally broken by the distant sweep of flashlights, search parties combing the area. At one point, I heard the distinctive sound of ATVs in the distance. They were mounting a serious effort to find me, far beyond what would be reasonable for a simple traffic violation. This confirmed my worst fears. Whatever they wanted from me, it wasn't legal or official. The forest road finally emerged onto a paved highway, mercifully empty in both directions. My GPS indicated the Oklahoma state line was less than 20 miles north. Freedom was tantalizingly close. I accelerated onto the highway, keeping my speed just above the limit to make good time without attracting attention. For 10 minutes, the drive was uneventful, allowing me to believe I might actually escape. Then, rounding a bend, my headlights illuminated a roadblock ahead, 2 police cruisers positioned across both lanes, and several men standing with flashlights. I was trapped. In that moment of desperation, with the roadblock ahead and no way to turn around without encountering my pursuers, I made a decision that would haunt me forever. Rather than stopping or attempting to evade, I veered sharply off the highway onto a steep embankment that led down toward a river I could hear but not see in the darkness. The van careened down the slope, bouncing violently as I fought for control. Tree branches shattered my windshield, showering me with glass as the van continued its descent. The impact came suddenly, a jarring crash as the front end hit something solid, bringing the van to an abrupt stop that slammed me forward against the steering wheel despite my seatbelt. Pain exploded in my chest and head as the airbag deployed. Through the haze of shock and adrenaline, I became aware of cold water seeping into the van. I had crashed near the river's edge, the front tires already submerged in the swiftly moving current. Hands shaking, I tried to open my door, but it was jammed from the impact. The passenger door similarly refused to budge. I was trapped in a rapidly flooding vehicle with unknown pursuers closing in from above. The water was rising faster than I expected, already reaching my knees as the van's front end sank deeper into the riverbed. With no other options, I used my emergency hammer to break the side window, cutting my arm on the glass as I squeezed through the opening into the cold river. The current immediately pulled at me, threatening to sweep me downstream. I managed to grab onto a protruding tree root, pulling myself along the riverbank until I found a place to climb out. Soaked, bleeding, and in tremendous pain, I collapsed on the muddy shore, listening to the shouts and flashlight beams from the road above. They knew approximately where I had gone off the road, but the darkness and dense vegetation provided temporary concealment. Hypothermia was a real risk in my wet clothes, but moving would expose my position. I huddled against a fallen tree, trying to control my violent shivering as I watched my van sink further into the river. With it went all my possessions, my photography equipment, my livelihood, everything except the phone, wallet, and keys in my pockets. The loss was devastating, but in that moment, survival was my only priority. For hours, I remained hidden as search parties combed the area. They seemed particularly interested in recovering something from my van, which was now mostly submerged. I watched in confusion as divers arrived and began examining the vehicle underwater. Whatever they were looking for, they seemed frustrated not to find it. Eventually, as dawn approached, the search parties thinned out, though police remained on scene documenting what they were calling an accident based on their radio communications I could overhear. When I was certain no one was nearby, I painfully made my way upstream, away from the crash site. Each step sent waves of agony through my likely broken ribs, but I pushed on, knowing discovery would lead to consequences I couldn't begin to imagine. After several miles, I found a small road and followed it until I reached a gas station just across the Oklahoma state line. Using the last of my phone's battery, I called the only person I thought might help, Maya from Austin. To my surprise, she drove the 4 hours to pick me up, arriving just as I was being treated by paramedics for my injuries. I had told the gas station attendant I'd been in a hiking accident, a story the paramedics seemed to accept given my condition. Maya took me to a hospital in Tulsa, where I was treated for 3 broken ribs, a concussion, and various cuts and bruises. When the hospital staff asked about the accident, Maya smoothly explained I had been a passenger in her car when we hit a deer. They had no reason to question her story. During my recovery at her friend's apartment in Tulsa, Maya revealed why she had been so willing to help. "You're not the first," she explained. "There's been others, vanlifers who disappeared in Texas, whose vehicles were found abandoned or crashed. The official stories never add up." She showed me online forums where people shared similar experiences of being followed, harassed, and in some cases, run off the road in rural Texas. The pattern was unmistakable. More disturbing was what she had discovered about my van specifically. "After you left Austin, I did some digging," she said hesitantly. "The previous owner of your van was arrested for drug trafficking last year in Texas. He served a minimal sentence in exchange for information. My guess is that whoever he informed on has been looking for that van ever since, thinking it might contain evidence or product they never recovered." The revelation made a horrible kind of sense. The coordinated pursuit, the involvement of corrupted law enforcement, the divers searching my sunken van. They weren't after me personally, but something they believed was hidden in my vehicle. I was simply collateral damage in someone else's vendetta. My only crime had been purchasing a used van with a history I knew nothing about. In the months that followed, I tried to rebuild my life. The insurance company declared my van a total loss but questioned the circumstances of the accident, resulting in a protracted battle for compensation. My photography career stalled without my equipment. I developed PTSD symptoms, panic attacks when I saw pickup trucks behind me, insomnia haunted by visions of headlights in my mirrors, hypervigilance that made normal life nearly impossible. I filed a police report about the harassment and forced road departure, but without evidence beyond my testimony, and with the involvement of local law enforcement in the pursuit, the case went nowhere. Maya helped me connect with a journalist interested in the pattern of vanlife targeting, but before the story could be published, the journalist received explicit threats and backed out. The wall of silence surrounding these incidents in rural Texas proved impenetrable. 1 year later, I still haven't returned to vanlife. The freedom and connection to nature that once defined my existence has been replaced by anxiety and hypervigilance. Even in my small apartment in Olympia, Washington, as far from Texas as I could reasonably relocate. I've sold photography prints online to make ends meet, but the joy has gone out of the art. Every time I pick up a camera, I remember what I lost that night in the river. What haunts me most isn't the material losses or even the physical injuries, which eventually healed. It's the knowledge that somewhere in Texas, the people who pursued me are still out there, corrupt officers, vigilante locals, drug traffickers, or some disturbing combination of the three. And they're still targeting others like me, nomads and wanderers who represent an easy mark precisely because of their transient lifestyle. People who can disappear without much notice or investigation. People whose stories are easy to dismiss as accidents or runaways or simply the expected risks of alternative living. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd stopped at that roadblock instead of veering off into the river. Would I have been arrested on false charges? Would I have disappeared like others before me? Or would it have been a legitimate checkpoint that could have resolved the situation legally? I'll never know. The uncertainty is part of the trauma, the road not taken that might have led to a different outcome, for better or worse. I've connected with other survivors online, people with similar stories of being targeted while traveling through rural areas. We share resources, warnings about specific regions, and strategies for staying safe. But we also share the damage these experiences have left behind. The paranoia, the nightmares, the lost sense of freedom. Many, like me, have abandoned the nomadic lifestyle altogether, retreating to conventional housing and conventional fears. As for my van, it was eventually recovered from the river, stripped of anything valuable and declared unsalvageable. I sometimes imagine it still sitting in some impound lot in northern Texas, a rusted shell of metal that once represented freedom and possibility. I wonder if the people who pursued me ever found what they were looking for among the waterlogged remains of my former life. I wonder if it was worth what they put me through, what they've put others through in their ruthless pursuit of whatever they seek. Texas remains a blank spot on my map now, a place I will never return to. The vast landscapes I had hoped to photograph remain unseen through my lens, beauty forever tainted by the darkness I encountered there. In my nightmares, I'm still driving those back roads, still seeing headlights appear in my mirror, still feeling the sickening lurch as my van leaves the highway and plunges toward the water. I wake gasping for air, momentarily believing I'm drowning in a river far from home, pursued by shadows I never fully understood. The experience has taught me that freedom is more fragile than I ever realized, that the open road contains dangers beyond weather and mechanical failures. There are places in this country where being different, being transient, makes you a target. Places where the rules we believe protect us can be suspended without warning or recourse. Places where the vast emptiness between towns can swallow you whole, leaving nothing but a mysterious disappearance, a crashed vehicle, a story that ends abruptly in the middle of nowhere. I still have the keys to my destroyed van. I keep them as a reminder, not of what I lost, but of what I survived. Perhaps someday the nightmares will fade. Perhaps someday I'll find the courage to buy another van, to try again to live the life I once loved. But for now, I remain grounded, watching the highways from a distance, my wanderlust tempered by the knowledge that sometimes the most dangerous predators on the road are the ones with badges or those who believe they're protecting their territory from outsiders like me. Until then, I share my story as a warning to others. If you choose the nomadic life, choose your routes carefully. Some roads lead to places you may not escape intact. Some journeys exact a price far higher than the gas in your tank or the miles on your odometer. And sometimes, the true cost of freedom is only revealed when it's suddenly, violently taken away. My name is Ethan Mercer. I'm 34 years old, and I live in Portland, Oregon. I've been working remotely as a software developer for the past 3 years, which finally gave me the freedom to pursue my dream of living on the road. 6 months ago, I converted my 2015 Ford Transit into a stealth camper van. Nothing fancy or Instagram-worthy, just practical with basic amenities. A platform bed, small kitchenette, and a portable toilet hidden in a cabinet. From the outside, it looks like any commercial van, which is exactly the point of stealth camping, to blend in and stay under the radar. My journey had been relatively uneventful until I decided to explore Texas. I'd heard from other vanlifers about the wide open spaces and diverse landscapes, from desert to hill country. What they didn't emphasize enough were the complicated parking laws and sometimes hostile attitudes toward people living in vehicles. Still, I was determined to experience the Lone Star State on my own terms. I had mapped out a route that would take me through Austin, San Antonio, and eventually to the remote areas of West Texas. The first week went smoothly as I moved through the eastern part of the state. I stuck to my usual routine: work during the day at coffee shops or libraries, find a place to park for the night by sunset. Usually Walmart parking lots, industrial areas, or quiet residential streets where I wouldn't attract attention. I was always careful to follow the unspoken rules of stealth camping. Arrive late, leave early, never put anything outside the van, and keep all window coverings in place so no light escaped. Things started to change when I reached the outskirts of San Antonio. The city had a different feel: more patrol cars circling parking lots, more no overnight parking signs than I'd seen elsewhere. One evening, I parked in what seemed like a safe spot near a commercial area. Around midnight, I woke to the disturbing sound of someone testing my door handles. My heart racing, I lay frozen in my bed, barely breathing. Whoever it was eventually gave up and left, but sleep was impossible after that. The next morning, I noticed a small marking scratched into my van's paint near the rear door. It looked deliberate, a simple X that wouldn't catch the eye of most people, but was unmistakable once you saw it. Something about it made my skin crawl. I'd read about van break-ins where thieves mark vehicles they plan to hit later, but I tried to convince myself it was just random vandalism. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd been targeted. I decided to move on quickly, heading toward the hill country where I hoped to find more welcoming territory. Along the way, I stopped at a truck stop to refuel and grab some food. While waiting for my order, I overheard two men talking about van people and how they were casing neighborhoods in San Antonio. One of them mentioned how his brother-in-law, a police officer, was keeping an eye out for suspicious vehicles. I kept my head down, suddenly very aware of how vulnerable I was, a stranger passing through, with everything I owned in a vehicle that could be towed or broken into at any moment. That night, I found a spot in a national forest campground. Not my usual stealth setup, but I needed the peace of mind that comes with legitimate camping. As I sat inside my van with the doors locked, eating a simple dinner of canned soup, I scrolled through a Vanlife forum on my phone. There was a recent thread about Texas, with multiple people reporting hostile encounters, particularly in certain areas. One post caught my attention, someone describing how their van had been marked with an X before they were followed for miles by a pickup truck with its high beams on. The comments were filled with similar stories. I tried to tell myself these were isolated incidents, probably exaggerated. The Vanlife community can sometimes feed off shared anxieties. But as the wind picked up outside, rattling the thin metal walls of my temporary home, I couldn't help but wonder if I'd made a terrible mistake coming to Texas alone. The freedom of the open road suddenly felt like exposure, and the anonymity I'd cultivated now seemed like isolation. With no one expecting me anywhere specific and no fixed address, who would even notice if I disappeared? I spent 3 restless days at the National Forest campground, jumping at every sound and second-guessing my decision to continue through Texas. Each morning, I checked my van for new markings or signs of tampering. The X near my rear door seemed to mock me. I tried scrubbing it off with a rag and some solvent, but a faint outline remained, a persistent reminder of my vulnerability. I debated heading back north, maybe to Colorado or even straight home to Oregon, but something stubborn in me refused to let fear dictate my travels. On the 4th day, I decided to push forward to my original destination, the remote expanses of West Texas. I reasoned that the further I got from major cities, the fewer problems I'd encounter. The open desert called to me with promises of solitude and starlit skies, the kind of experience that had drawn me to van life in the first place. I plotted a route that would take me through smaller towns, avoiding San Antonio and other population centers where I might attract unwanted attention. The drive west was long but beautiful, with the landscape gradually transforming from the green hill country to more arid terrain. My anxiety began to ease as traffic thinned and the spaces between towns grew longer. By late afternoon, I reached a small community called Terlingua, near Big Bend National Park. The area had a reputation as a haven for off-grid living and alternative lifestyles. Here, my van wouldn't stand out as suspicious, but would blend with the eclectic mix of vehicles belonging to artists, retirees, and desert dwellers. I found a dispersed camping spot on some BLM land outside town, far enough from others to have privacy, but close enough that I could see a few distant lights from other campers. For the first time in days, I felt comfortable enough to set up my portable solar shower and cook a proper meal outside the van. As the sun set, painting the desert in shades of orange and purple, I finally relaxed. I sat in my camp chair, nursing a beer and watching the stars emerge in a sky untainted by light pollution. My peace was interrupted around midnight by the distant sound of an engine. In the stillness of the desert, sounds travel far, and I could tell a vehicle was approaching my location. I quickly packed up my chair and cooking equipment, tossing them into the van before climbing inside and locking the doors. Through the small gap in my window covering, I watched as a pickup truck with a spotlight mounted on its roof slowly cruised past my camping spot. The light swept across my van briefly before the truck continued down the rough dirt road. It could have been Border Patrol. They were common in this area, or maybe just another camper looking for a spot. But something about the deliberate way they'd shined that light at my van sent a chill down my spine. I checked my phone. No service. Of course, I'd known that would be the case out here, and normally I welcomed the digital detox. Now, the lack of connection felt dangerous. I spent the night with my van key in one hand and a heavy mag light in the other, dozing fitfully. At first light, I stepped outside to stretch my legs and found tire tracks circling my campsite, tracks that hadn't been there the evening before. Someone had driven around my van while I slept, close enough that they must have been examining it. I felt sick to my stomach as I followed the tracks with my eyes, noticing how they led back to the main dirt road. Making a snap decision, I packed up and drove into Terlingua proper, hoping to find cell service and perhaps some local knowledge about safe camping areas. The small general store had a few locals gathered outside, drinking coffee and chatting in the morning sun. I approached cautiously, asking if they knew of good spots to park a van for a few nights. Their initial friendliness cooled when they realized I was a van dweller rather than a traditional tourist. One older man with weathered skin and mistrustful eyes looked me up and down before saying, "We get your type through here all the time. Just passing through, taking up space, leaving trash behind." Despite my protests that I practiced leave no trace camping, the damage was done. I felt the community's suspicion like a physical weight. As I walked back to my van, I noticed a truck similar to the one from the previous night parked across the street. A man inside seemed to be watching me, though he quickly looked away when I made eye contact. Was I being paranoid, or was something truly disturbing happening? Either way, I knew I couldn't stay in Terlingua. West Texas suddenly felt less like freedom and more like a trap. I left Terlingua with an uneasy feeling settling in my gut, deciding to head north toward Marathon, a small town where I hoped to find a more welcoming atmosphere. The desert landscape that had seemed so peaceful just hours before now felt exposed and threatening. Every vehicle I passed on the highway seemed to linger too long beside me, and each time I checked my rearview mirror, I couldn't shake the sensation that I was being followed. It wasn't anything I could pinpoint exactly, just a recurring glimpse of the same dusty pickup truck always maintaining the same distance behind me. After 2 hours of driving, I pulled into a gas station in Marathon, desperate for human contact and reassurance. The attendant, a young woman with kind eyes, chatted with me while I paid for fuel and some supplies. When I casually mentioned I was traveling in my van and looking for safe places to park overnight, her expression changed. "Be careful around here," she said in a lowered voice. "There's been some trouble with van campers lately." When I pressed for details, she glanced around nervously before explaining that several vanlifers had reported being harassed, with 2 cases of break-ins while people were sleeping inside. One victim had ended up in the hospital. Her words confirmed my worst fears, but I tried to remain calm as I asked if there was anywhere safe I could stay. She recommended a small RV park on the edge of town, owned by her uncle, where I could hook up to electricity for the night and be behind a gated entrance. The security sounded appealing, but my stealth instincts balked at the visibility. Still, I thanked her and decided it was worth the $30 for a night of secure sleep. As I was leaving, she grabbed my arm. "Whatever you do, stay away from the old quarry roads. People go missing out there." The RV park was nearly empty when I arrived. Just 3 other vehicles, all large Class A motorhomes that made my van look tiny in comparison. I paid the owner, a gruff man who barely acknowledged me beyond taking my money, and settled into my assigned spot. For the first time in days, I felt safe enough to take a proper shower in the park's facilities and do some laundry. As darkness fell, I sat inside my van with the small electric heater running, grateful for the hookup as temperatures dropped in the desert night. Around 10 p.m., I heard a vehicle pull in and park near the front office. Through my curtains, I could make out the now familiar silhouette of a pickup truck. My heart rate immediately spiked as I watched a man get out and enter the office. Minutes later, he emerged with the owner, both of them looking in the direction of my van. They spoke for a while, gesturing occasionally toward me. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but their body language sent alarm bells ringing through my mind. When they finally separated, the truck driver returned to his vehicle but didn't leave. He just sat there with the engine off, as if waiting. I frantically began researching on my phone, searching for information about harassment of vanlifers in West Texas. What I found disturbed me deeply. In a private Facebook group for solo van travelers, there were multiple posts from the past 3 months describing a pattern of intimidation in the exact area I was traveling. People reported being followed, having their vans marked, and receiving threatening notes. 2 members shared stories about being run off desolate roads by aggressive drivers and pickups. Most disturbing was a post from just 2 weeks ago where someone claimed their friend had disappeared while stealth camping near the old quarry roads outside Marathon, the very place the gas station attendant had warned me about. Sleep was impossible. I sat up all night with the doors locked and my phone in hand. Though I knew calling 911 would be useless, what could I report? That someone was sitting in a truck? That people had looked at my van? Around 3 a.m., the truck finally left, but rather than feeling relief, I felt dread building inside me. What if he was just going to get others? What if they were planning something for daylight, when I'd inevitably leave the relative safety of the RV park? Morning came with no further incidents, but I was exhausted and jumpy. I decided to cut my Texas journey short and head straight north to New Mexico, where I had friends in Santa Fe. I disconnected from the hookup, paid for another night I wouldn't use as cover, and casually mentioned to the owner that I planned to explore the area for the day before returning. His eyes narrowed slightly as he nodded, and I had the distinct impression he didn't believe me. As I pulled out of the RV park, I noticed a man watching from behind the office window, phone to his ear. I took the main highway north, pushing the speed limit but not enough to attract attention from law enforcement. For the first hour, everything seemed normal, and I began to wonder if I had manufactured the whole situation in my mind. Then, in the vast emptiness between Marathon and Fort Stockton, I spotted the pickup truck again. It was pulled over on the side of the road ahead, and as I passed, the driver, a middle-aged man in a cowboy hat, made deliberate eye contact with me before pulling out behind my van. This wasn't paranoia anymore. This was real, and it was happening right now. The pickup maintained a consistent distance behind me as I continued north on Highway 385, close enough to make his presence known, but not so close as to be obviously threatening to other drivers. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. I ran through my options. I could pull over in a public place and confront him, but what if he wasn't alone? I could try to outrun him, but my fully loaded van wasn't built for speed. Fort Stockton was still about 30 miles ahead, the only town of any size in this stretch of desolate highway. I decided to test whether I was truly being followed. When a rest area appeared, I signaled and pulled in, parking near a family unloading from an SUV. The pickup cruised slowly past the entrance without stopping, and for a moment I felt relief, until I watched him make a U-turn about a quarter mile down the highway and park on the shoulder, waiting. My brief moment of safety evaporated. The family at the rest area packed up and left within minutes, leaving me alone except for the distant figure in the truck. Fighting rising panic, I pulled out my phone to call 911, only to see the dreaded no service indicator. Of course, these remote stretches of Texas highways were notorious for dead zones. I had a satellite emergency beacon buried somewhere in my van's storage, but that was designed for medical emergencies, not whatever this was. Was I overreacting? The rational part of my brain tried to conjure innocent explanations, but the mounting evidence suggested otherwise. I couldn't stay at the rest area forever. Taking a deep breath, I started the van and pulled back onto the highway. The pickup immediately began moving, falling into position behind me once again. My mind raced through everything I knew about this area, trying to remember if there were any police stations or border patrol checkpoints where I could find help. Nothing came to mind until I remembered passing a large truck stop on my way south a few days earlier. It should be just outside Fort Stockton, a busy, well-lit place with plenty of witnesses. The miles crawled by agonizingly slowly. Every few minutes, the pickup would accelerate until it was right on my bumper, its headlights filling my mirrors, before backing off again. It was a clear intimidation tactic, and it was working. My hands shook as I white-knuckled the steering wheel, constantly checking my mirrors. When Fort Stockton finally appeared on the horizon, I felt the first glimmer of hope. The truck stop was just off the main highway. I could see its tall sign in the distance. As I approached the exit, the pickup suddenly accelerated, pulling alongside me. The driver, now clearly visible as a weathered man in his 50s, stared directly at me while talking on his cell phone. He made a cutting motion across his throat before speeding ahead and taking the same exit I was planning to use. Message received. He knew where I was going, and he was going to be waiting. I made a split-second decision and kept driving past the exit, sacrificing my safe haven plan, but hopefully throwing off my pursuer. The next exit wasn't for another 15 miles according to my GPS. I accelerated to 80 miles per hour, pushing my van harder than I ever had before, praying that I wouldn't see the pickup regain my tail. The highway stretched endlessly ahead, cutting through the barren landscape with nothing but scrubby desert on either side. No houses, no businesses, nowhere to hide a 19-foot van. Just as I was starting to think I'd escaped, I spotted a plume of dust on a parallel dirt road that ran alongside the highway. The pickup had found some local route to cut me off, and it was making better time than I was. When the dirt road merged back with the highway about 5 miles ahead of me, the pickup pulled onto the pavement and stopped, blocking the right lane. There was still the passing lane, but his intention was clear. He wanted me to stop. In that moment, survival instinct took over. I couldn't stop, couldn't turn around, and couldn't go off-road in my van. The only option was forward. I tightened my seatbelt, gripped the wheel, and floored the accelerator, aiming for the open left lane. As I approached at high speed, the truck suddenly swerved to block both lanes. I had seconds to decide: hit the brakes and become a sitting target, or attempt to squeeze by on the narrow shoulder. I chose the shoulder, yanking the wheel hard to the right. My van fishtailed violently as the tires hit the gravel, sending a spray of rocks behind me. For a terrifying moment, I thought I would roll, but somehow the van stayed upright as I careened past the pickup with inches to spare. In my mirror, I saw the driver leap back into his truck and begin pursuit again. The near collision had shaken me to my core, but it also clarified the situation's gravity. This wasn't harassment or intimidation anymore. This was attempted assault with a deadly weapon. Mile marker signs flashed by as I pushed my van to its limits, the engine protesting with sounds I'd never heard before. My pursuer was gaining ground, his more powerful vehicle easily closing the gap I'd created. Just as his bumper was about to touch mine, I spotted the blue and white lights of a border patrol checkpoint in the distance. I'd forgotten about it completely, a permanent checkpoint that monitored all northbound traffic on this highway. The pickup immediately backed off, slowing dramatically as the checkpoint came into view. I didn't slow down at all, screeching into the checkpoint lane with tears streaming down my face and barely coherent as I tried to explain to the startled agents what had happened. Behind me, the pickup had made an illegal U-turn across the highway median and was now speeding south, away from the checkpoint and the witnesses who could identify him. The Border Patrol agents were surprisingly sympathetic once I calmed down enough to explain what had happened. They took my statement and description of the vehicle, even radioing ahead to state troopers who might intercept the pickup. One agent, a woman named Rodriguez, sat with me while I drank the coffee they provided, my hands still shaking so badly I could barely hold the cup. "You're not the first," she told me quietly. "We've had 3 similar reports in the past month. Vanlifers being followed, harassed, chased." When I asked why someone would target van dwellers specifically, she hesitated before answering. "There's a lot of misconceptions around here about people living in vans. Some locals think you're all drug traffickers, or that you're casing their towns for places to rob. But honestly, I think it's simpler than that. Some people just hate what they don't understand, and they don't understand why anyone would choose to live the way you do." The state troopers never found the pickup truck. It had too much of a head start, and there were too many back roads where it could disappear. They took my contact information and promised to call if anything developed, but I could tell from their expressions that they didn't expect to make an arrest. I was offered an escort to the New Mexico state line, which I gratefully accepted. As we crossed into the neighboring state, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders, though the trauma remained. I made it to my friend's place in Santa Fe by the following evening, exhausted but safe. Over the next few days, as I recovered from the ordeal, I did more research into what I'd experienced. What I found was disturbing, a pattern of incidents across rural Texas targeting vanlifers and other nomadic travelers. Some were clearly opportunistic crimes, thieves assuming vans contained valuable equipment, but others seemed motivated by a darker hostility toward outsiders. Most disturbing was what I learned about the old quarry roads near Marathon. 6 months earlier, the body of a solo traveler had been found in his burned-out van in that area. The official report ruled it an accident, a cooking fire that got out of control while the victim slept. But in online forums, people who had spoken to the victim before his death claimed he had reported being followed and harassed in the days leading up to the accident. The stories were too similar to mine to be coincidental. A week after reaching New Mexico, I received a call from Agent Rodriguez. They had identified my pursuer based on my description and the partial license plate I'd managed to remember. He was a local ranch hand with previous arrests for assault and property damage. When questioned, he admitted to following suspicious vehicles, but denied any intent to harm. Without stronger evidence of his intentions, they could only charge him with reckless driving and making threatening gestures, minor offenses that would likely result in probation at most. I stayed with my friends in Santa Fe for a month, unable to face returning to my van life immediately. The experience had shattered my sense of security and freedom, the very things that had drawn me to this lifestyle in the first place. Every time I thought about getting back on the road, I would remember the pickup's headlights filling my mirrors, the driver's threatening gesture, the moment I nearly lost control on the shoulder. Some nights I would wake up in a cold sweat, convinced I heard someone testing my door handles. Eventually, I sold my van to another traveler, someone younger and perhaps more resilient than I had proven to be. I used the money to rent a small apartment back in Portland, returning to conventional living with mixed emotions. Sometimes I miss the open road and the freedom it represented, but other times I feel profound relief at having solid walls around me and neighbors within shouting distance. What haunts me most isn't the fear I experienced, or even the close call on that highway. It's the knowledge that somewhere out there, people like my pursuer are still targeting vulnerable travelers, and some may not be as lucky as I was. Every few weeks, I check the Vanlife forums and inevitably find new reports, strange encounters in remote areas, unexplained break-ins, people being run off the road, and occasionally, stories of vanlifers who set out across Texas and were never heard from again. I often think about what Agent Rodriguez told me as I was leaving the checkpoint. The desert keeps its secrets. At the time, I thought she was being poetic about the landscape. Now I wonder if she was trying to warn me about something darker. The ways in which isolated communities can harbor predators, how vast empty spaces can swallow evidence, and how some people simply disappear into the unforgiving terrain, their stories lost forever among the mesquite and cacti of the Texas backcountry. I still have nightmares about that pickup truck. In them, I never make it to the Border Patrol checkpoint. Instead, I'm forced off the road into the desert, my van's wheels spinning helplessly in the sand as headlights approach from behind. I always wake up before I see the driver's face, perhaps because in my dreams, as in real life, the truly horrifying thing isn't who he is, but what he represents, the fragility of freedom, the vulnerability of solitude, and the thin veneer of safety we all depend upon while drifting through this world alone. I'm Ethan Carver, 29 years old, and I've been calling Austin, Texas, home for the last 5 years. Life's good there, vibrant, loud, a little weird, but I've always had this itch to get out, breathe some open air, and just disconnect. That's why I saved up for my van, a beat-up '98 Dodge I converted myself. Insulation, a bed, some solar panels, nothing fancy, but it's mine. Last month, I decided to take it for a real spin, head out to Big Bend National Park, about 400 miles west. Stealth camping's my thing. Parking where no one notices, living quiet, leaving no trace. Figured the desert out, there'd be perfect for it. The drive was long, man. Left Austin at dawn, cruised through San Antonio, then hit those endless Texas highways where the gas stations get sketchier the farther you go. By dusk, I was rolling into Big Bend's outskirts, jagged mountains, scrubby plains, and not a soul in sight. Found a dirt pull-off near Terlingua, just past some abandoned ranch land. No signs, no lights, just me and the van. Parked it behind a clump of mesquite, killed the engine, and cracked a beer. The silence was unreal. Almost too quiet, you know? First night, I'm stoked. I've got my little setup, curtains up, bed made, a fan humming off the battery. I'm scrolling my phone, sipping that beer, feeling like I've cracked some secret code to freedom. Out here, no rent, no neighbors, just me and the stars. But then I noticed the battery gauge dipping faster than it should. Weird, but I shrug it off, probably the fan. I switch it off, crack the window instead. That's when I catch a whiff of something outside, faint, like burnt rubber or oil. Figure it's some old junk nearby. No biggie. Sleeping in the van's cozy, but I'm a light sleeper. Around 2 a.m., I jolt awake. Something's off. Can't place it, just a gut thing. I peek through the curtain, see nothing but darkness and those twisted mesquite shadows. Heart's thumping, but I tell myself it's just the newness of it all. I've watched too many damn crime podcasts. That's the problem. Lay back down, force my eyes shut. Eventually, I drift off, clutching my pocket knife under the pillow like some paranoid idiot. Next morning, I'm up with the sun, hot as hell already. Coffee's brewing on my camp stove outside, and I'm feeling good again. The van's my fortress, you know? Check the battery. Still low, even with the solar kicking in. Annoying, but I've got jumper cables if it gets bad. I spend the day hiking nearby trails, snapping pics of the Chizos Mountains, dodging rattlers. It's gorgeous out here, wild in a way Austin will never be. I'm hooked. Back at the van by late afternoon, I cook some ramen, crack another beer. Sun's dipping, painting everything orange. I'm parked in the same spot. Why move when it's this good? But that burnt smell's back, stronger now. I poke around, find nothing. No trash, no oil slicks. Maybe it's the van? I check the engine. Looks fine. No leaks. Shrug it off again. Night rolls in, and I'm chilling, reading some old paperback I grabbed at a gas station. That second night, I'm more relaxed. Battery's still acting up, but I've got a plan to charge it tomorrow. I'm dozing off when I hear it. A low rumble, far off. Not thunder, too steady. A vehicle, maybe? Out here? It fades quick, so I don't sweat it. Probably some rancher or border patrol. Still, I double-check the locks, slide that knife closer. Sleep hits me hard after that. Waking up day 3, I'm groggy but pumped to explore more. Coffee's on, and I'm mapping out a route to some ghost town nearby. Terlingua's got a rep for creepy history. Battery's at 20%, which sucks, but the solo will catch up. I'm loving this van life gig. Freedom, solitude, all that jazz. But something's nagging me, like I'm missing a piece of the puzzle. Late morning, I'm cleaning up, and I spot something odd. A little pile of cigarette butts maybe 20 feet from the van. Weren't there yesterday. I smoke, sure, but I don't toss them like that. I've got an ashtray. Weird, right? I brush it off as some hiker's mess, but it sticks with me like a splinter in my brain. Day 3 hits me like a freight train, hot, dry, and that damn battery's still wheezing at 20%. I'm crouched by the van, fiddling with the solar setup, swearing under my breath. The panels are soaking up sun, but the charge isn't climbing. I'm no mechanic, but this ain't right. I pop the hood again. Everything looks solid, no frayed wires, no leaks. Maybe it's the alternator? Shit, I don't know. I've got a jump pack, but that's useless without another car. Nearest town's Terlingua, like 10 miles off, and I'm not hiking that in this heat. I decide to roll the dice and drive closer to civilization. Charge the battery the old-fashioned way. Engine sputters to life. Thank God. And I ease onto the dirt road, kicking up dust. Radio static. Phone's at 60%. No service out here anyway. I'm rattling along, eyes peeled for a spot with people, when I see this beat-to-hell pickup parked off the shoulder. 2 guys are leaning on it, smoking, staring as I pass. Rough types, tattoos, trucker hats, the kind of dudes you don't mess with. I nod, keep driving. They don't wave back. Pull into Terlingua around noon. Ghost town vibes, crumbling adobe, a few crusty locals eyeballing me. Find a gas station, park, let the engine idle to juice the battery. Clerks this wiry old guy, all sunburnt leather skin, asks where I'm camped. Just outside, I say, keeping it vague. He grunts, mutters something about folks wandering out there lately. I grab a Coke, pay, and bounce. Battery's creeping up, 30% now. Good enough. Back at my spot by dusk, I'm beat. Park behind the mesquite again, kill the engine. That burnt smell's lingering, disturbing as hell, like it's stuck in my nose. I'm too wiped to care though. Cook some beans, crack a beer, try to unwind. Sun's gone, and the dark creeps in fast out here. I'm scrolling my phone, still no signal, when I notice those cigarette butts again. Same spot, but more of them now. What the hell? I didn't smoke today. I grab my flashlight, poke around. No tracks, no trash, just those damn butts. My gut's twisting. Someone's been here, right? I'm not crazy. Maybe those pickup guys? But why? I shake it off, lock the van tight, climb into bed. Sleep's not coming easy tonight. Every creak of the van's got me twitching. I'm clutching that knife again, feeling like a dumbass, but not dumb enough to ditch it. Next morning, I'm up early, battery's at 35%, barely budging. Solar's a bust, and I'm kicking myself for not testing this rig more back in Austin. I've got enough juice to get to Terlingua again, but I'm low on cash, and towing's not an option. I decide to stick it out one more day, hike, explore, hope the panels kick in. Worst case, I flag someone down. No big deal, right? Hiking's a bust, too distracted. I'm trudging along a dry creek bed, mind racing. What if the van dies completely? I'm stuck out here, no phone, no help. Back at camp by afternoon, I'm sweaty, pissed, and that burnt smells stronger, like something's cooking nearby. I check the van again. Nothing. Then I spot it. A glint in the brush, maybe 50 yards off. Metal? Glass? My heart's thumping, but I'm too curious to ignore it. I grab my knife, head over. It's a busted tail light, red plastic, cracked, half buried. Not mine. Looks fresh, too, not weathered. Now I'm freaking out a little. Someone's been out here, and not long ago. I scan the horizon. Empty, just heat waves and scrub. Back at the van, I'm pacing, trying to piece this together. Those pickup guys? Some drifter? My brain's spinning horror stories. Real ones, like that time I heard about a couple vanishing on a road trip near Marfa. By nightfall, I'm on edge. Batteries at 40%. Better, but not enough. I'm parked, curtains up, lights off, trying to stay low. That rumbles back, distant, growling, closer than last time. I freeze, listening. It's a vehicle, no doubt, idling somewhere out there. My mouth's dry, hands shaky. I peek out, can't see shit, just black. Then it cuts off, and the silence is worse. That rumble fading out last night left me wired, didn't sleep a wink. I'm up at dawn, eyes gritty, chugging coffee like it's gonna fix the knot in my gut. Batteries at 40%, van's still my lifeline, but I'm jumpy as hell. I keep replaying it. That engine, so close, then gone. Was it those pickup guys? Some creep scoping me out. I'm parked in the middle of nowhere, stealth or not, and it's starting to feel like a dumbass move. I step outside, scan the area. The burnt smells thick now, acrid, like scorched metal and meat. Makes my stomach churn. I grab my flashlight, even though it's daylight, and check that tail light spot again. It's still there, mocking me. Then I see more, tire tracks, faint, cutting through the dirt about 30 yards off. Not mine. Wider, deeper, like a truck. My heart's hammering. Someone's been circling my spot. Back at the van, I'm pacing, trying to think. I could drive out, hit Terlingua, maybe find a mechanic. But the battery's shaky, and what if I break down halfway? I'm chewing my lip, weighing it, when I hear a crunch, dry brush snapping, loud, maybe 100 feet away. I freeze, eyes darting. Nothing moves, just the wind whining through the mesquite. I call out, "Hey, who's there?" Voice cracks like a damn kid. No answer. Now I'm sweating, and it's not just the heat. I climb into the van, lock it, sit there gripping my knife. Minutes drag, 5, 10, 15. Then I see it through the windshield. Dust kicking up, way out past the scrub. A vehicle, dark, boxy, moving slow. Too far to make out, but it's coming this way. My throat's tight, palms slick. I duck low, peek through the curtain gap. It's that pickup, same rusted heap from yesterday, creeping closer like it's hunting. They stop maybe 200 yards off, engine idling. Two shapes inside. Those guys gotta be. They're just sitting there, watching. My brain screaming, why me? What do they want? I've got nothing worth stealing, just a shitty van and some camping gear. Then one steps out, tall, wiry, shotgun slung over his shoulder. He's not rushing, just staring my way, lighting a cigarette. The other guy's still in the truck, revving the engine like a taunt. I'm shaking now, full-on panic. This isn't some random encounter. It's deliberate, disturbing as hell. I fumble for my phone, still no bars. The van's my only shot, but starting it might tip them off. I wait, barely breathing, as the guy flicks his cigarette, starts walking my way. Slow, casual, like he's got all the time in the world. He's 150 yards out, then 100. I can see his face, hard, unshaven, eyes locked on my van. He stops maybe 50 yards off, just stands there, shotgun loose in his hands. The truck's still idling, loud and mean. Then he yells, "Hey, van boy, you lost or something?" Voice rough, dripping with menace. I don't answer. Can't, my mouth's a desert. He laughs, low and nasty, spits in the dirt. "You shouldn't be out here alone, city kid." My blood's ice. He knows I'm not local. How long have they been watching? I'm crouched, heart slamming against my ribs, when the truck lurches forward, tires spinning, dust billowing. It's charging straight at me. I scream, shit, and dive for the keys. Engine sputters. Once, twice, then catches. I slam it into gear, peel out, kicking up gravel. They're right behind me, horn blaring, that shotgun guy scrambling back to the truck. This is real, horror movie real, and I'm the dumb bastard who parked too far from help. I'm flying down the dirt road, van rattling like it's gonna fall apart. They're gaining, headlights flashing in my mirrors, close enough I can hear them whooping, laughing like it's a game. My knuckles are white, mind blank except for one thought. I'm screwed. The battery gauge is blinking, 40% dropping fast. If this thing dies, I'm dead meat. I'm tearing down this dirt track, then shaking like it's gonna bust apart, those psychos in the pickup right on my ass. Dust choking the air, headlights blinding me in the mirrors. They're so close I can hear their engine roaring over mine. My battery's flashing 35%, dropping fast, and I'm praying this piece of junk holds out. I swerve hard, dodging a rut, and the whole rig fishtails, nearly clip a mesquite. They're whooping, hollering, like this is some twisted Texas rodeo, and I'm the calf. I spot a fork ahead, left's a narrow trail, right's wider, maybe a main road. No time to think. I yank right, tires screeching, and gun it. The pickup follows, but they're slower on the turn, gives me a breath. Speedometer's at 40, maxing this old Dodge out, and I'm scanning for anything. Lights, a ranger station, hell, even a ditch to hide in. Nothing but dark scrub and that damn burnt smell flooding through the vents. My hands are slick, slipping on the wheel. Then it happens. Battery dips to 20%. Engine sputters. No, come on. I'm slamming the dash, like that'll fix it. They're closing in, 100 yards, 50, and I hear a crack. Shotgun blast. Glass shatters somewhere behind me, and I duck, swearing. They're shooting now for real. I weave, praying they miss the tires. Up ahead, I see a faint glow. Terlingua, maybe? Gotta be. I push the van harder, engine whining like it's dying. The glow's a gas station, same one from yesterday, lights flickering. I skid into the lot, horn blaring, and the pickup peels off, tires screaming as they vanish into the dark. I'm shaking, gasping, parked crooked by the pump. Clerk's that old leather-faced guy, stepping out, squinting at me. Trouble, he says, calm as hell. Yeah, some assholes in a truck just tried to kill me. Voice is shot, high-pitched. He nods, like this ain't news, and hands me a warm Dr. Pepper. Happens. I'm chugging it, trying to breathe, when I notice the van's toast. Battery's at 10%. Engine won't turn over. Clerk says there's a mechanic 20 miles up, but no tow till morning. I'm stuck here, exposed, and those guys could circle back. I lock the van, grab my knife, and hunker down inside, curtains tight. Every car that rolls by has me jumping. Headlights feel like a threat now. Night drags on, and I'm wired, listening. Around 2 a.m., I hear gravel crunching, slow, deliberate. Peek out, see a shadow by the pumps. Tall, wiry shotgun guy. Can't tell, too dark, but my gut's screaming. He's pacing, smoking, then stops, stares right at my van. I'm holding my breath, knife out, ready to bolt if he moves closer. He doesn't, just stands there like he's daring me. Clerk's still inside, oblivious, and I'm alone out here. Shadow guy flicks his cigarette, walks off into the night. I don't sleep, can't. Dawn breaks, and I'm a wreck, but alive. Mechanic rolls in at 7, jump starts the van, alternator's fried. He says, $200 fix. I don't care, just want out. Battery's charging, and I'm plotting my escape. Back to Austin, screw this trip. I'm gassing up, ready to roll, when I see fresh tire tracks by the station, wide, deep, like that pickup's. My stomach drops. They were here, watching. I peel out, heart pounding, checking my mirrors every second. Highway's empty, but I'm not safe yet. Feels like they're still out there, waiting. Miles tick by, 50, 100, and I'm calming down, thinking I've dodged the bullet. Big Ben's a speck behind me, and Austin's calling. I'm laughing, shaky, like I've beat the odds. Then my phone pings, signals back. Text from an unknown number. Nice van. My blood's ice again. I'm hauling ass down I-10, that text burning a hole in my brain. Nice van. How'd they get my number? My plates. Some database. I'm gripping the wheel, eyes darting to every truck I pass. None match, but the paranoia is choking me. Battery's holding at 60% now. Mechanic did his job, but I'm still a mess. That burnt smell's gone, replaced by my own sweat and fear. I stop at a Buck He's near junction, bright lights, people, safety. I'm chugging coffee, replaying it all. Should have stayed in Austin, tested the van more, picked a campground, not some stealth spot in psycho country. My big mistake was thinking I could handle this solo. Arrogant, dumb. I text a buddy in Austin, spill the whole scary story. He's freaked, says crash at his place soon as I'm back. Back on the road. I'm jumpy but focused, 200 miles to go. Sun's high, traffic's picking up, and I'm feeling human again. Then I see it, a rusted pickup, 2 lanes over, pacing me. My chest tightens, same dents, same vibe. They're back. I speed up, they match me. I slow down, they drop back, but stay close. This isn't random, they're toying with me. I'm sweating bullets, mind racing. Call 911. No proof, just a hunch. Exit's coming, small town, Sonora. I swerve off, they follow. Gas stations ahead, crowded, and I pull in, park by the pumps. They cruise past, slow, windows down. It's them, shotgun guys driving, staring me down, smirking. The others laughing, flicking a cigarette out. My heart's in my throat. They've tracked me this far. I wait, 5 minutes, 10. They don't come back. Clerk inside says cops are useless unless they do something. I'm shaking, but I've got no choice. Hit the road again. Austin's close, 100 miles. I'm flooring it, mirrors clean, thinking I've lost them. Phone's silent, no more texts. I'm almost laughing. Maybe I'm free. I roll into Austin at dusk, exhausted, pulling into my buddy's driveway. Van's a lifeline turned nightmare, but I'm alive. Hug my friend, crash on his couch, spilling the whole disturbing tale. He's wide-eyed, says I'm lucky. I nod, but I'm not so sure. Feels like I left something out there, something that's not done with me. Next morning, I'm groggy, sipping coffee, when I step outside. Van's there, safe, but there's a cigarette butt on the hood. Fresh, still warm. My knees buckle, I didn't smoke last night. They followed me home. I'm calling the cops, moving, something, but deep down, I know it's too late. This isn't over. Cops take a report, but it's thin. No plates, no names, just my word. They leave, and I'm alone, staring at that van. My dream's a tragedy now, freedom traded for terror. I sell it a week later, cheap, to some kid who doesn't know. Last I heard, he took it west, Big Bend, he said. I didn't warn him. Maybe I should have. Days pass, and I'm jumping at shadows, waiting for them to show up. They don't, but every night, I smell that burnt stench, faint, like it stuck to me. My mistake wasn't the trip, it was thinking I could outrun what's out there. It's still coming, I can feel it. I'm Riley Harper, 32 years old, and I've been holed up in Dallas, Texas, for the last decade. City life's fine, fast, noisy, keeps you sharp, but I've been itching to break out, live simpler. That's where my van comes in, a 05 Ford Econoline I snagged off Craigslist and gutted myself. Bed, stove, some cheap solar panels. It's rough, but it works. Last week, I decided to test it out, head east to the piney woods near Lufkin, about 120 miles away. Stealth camping's my jam. Slipping into the shadows, no fees, no crowds. The drive's a breeze. Left Dallas mid-morning, cut through Mesquite, then hit those flat highways that stretch forever. By afternoon, I'm rolling into the woods, tall pines, thick underbrush, air heavy with damp. Found a gravel pull-off near Davy Crockett National Forest, tucked behind some oaks. No signs, no people, just me and the van. I park, kill the engine, and crack a soda. It's quiet out here, almost suffocating, but I'm loving it. First night's chill. I've got my setup dialed, blackout curtains, a little LED lamp, some tunes on my phone. Battery's humming at 80%, solar's doing its thing. I'm sprawled out, sipping that soda, feeling like I've hacked life. Out here, no boss, no rent, just freedom. But then I notice a flicker on the battery gauge, drops to 75%, then back up. Weird glitch, I guess. I shrug, pop the window an inch for air, and crash out. I'm a heavy sleeper, but around 3 a.m., I snap awake, sweaty, heart racing. No clue why, just a bad vibe. I peek out the curtain, pitch black, pines looming like giants. Nothing moves, but I can't shake it. Grab my flashlight, keep it close. Probably just the woods messing with me. Heard too many true crime stories about East Texas, you know? I laugh it off, roll over, and eventually doze off. Morning hits, humid, sticky, sun barely cutting through the trees. I'm up, brewing coffee outside, feeling good again. Van's my castle, man. Battery's at 70%, lower than I'd like, but it'll charge. I spend the day wandering trails, dodging mosquitoes, snapping pics of the forest. It's wild out here, overgrown, alive, nothing like Dallas concrete. I'm sold on this life. Back by afternoon, I'm beat. Cook some eggs, crack another soda, watch the light fade. Parked in the same spot. Why mess with perfection? But then I catch it, a whiff of something sour, like rotting meat or wet trash. Figure it's an animal carcass nearby. I poke around, find nothing. Van's clean, no spills. Whatever, woods are gross sometimes. Second night, I'm settled in. Batteries at 65%, still glitchy, but I'm not sweating it. I'm reading some beat-up Stephen King paperback when I hear a thud, low, heavy, maybe 20 yards off. I freeze, listen. Nothing follows, just crickets and wind. Probably a branch falling. These pines are old. I lock the doors anyway, slide my flashlight closer, and try to chill. Waking up day 3, I'm groggy but stoked. Coffee's on, and I'm planning a deeper hike. Batteries at 60%, annoying, but manageable. I'm loving this gig, solitude, nature, the whole deal. But something's off, nagging me. Maybe it's the quiet. It's too thick, like the woods are holding their breath. Late morning, I'm tidying up, and I spot it. 3 empty beer cans, crushed, tossed in the brush near my van. Not mine. I don't drink beer, just soda. My skin prickles. Someone's been here. I don't litter, and this spot's too remote for random trash. I tell myself it's old junk, but it's shiny, fresh. My brain's already spinning. Who? Why? Day 3 slams me awake with a headache. Humid air's like breathing soup out here. Batteries at 60%, still acting funky, and I'm crouched by the van, eyeballing the solar setup. Panels are fine, connection's tight, but the charge keeps dipping. I'm no gearhead, but this is pissing me off. I've got a portable charger, but it's for my phone, not this beast. Nearest town's Lufkin, 15 miles west. Doable, but I'm not thrilled about breaking stealth mode. Those beer cans are still bugging me. I grab a stick, poke at him. Fresh, no rust. One's got a dribble of foam left. Someone was here, no question. I scan the trees. Pines so dense you can't see 50 feet. My gut's churning, but I shake it off. Probably some redneck dumping trash. I decide to move spots, find a new pull-off, stay low. Engine starts fine, and I creep down the gravel, eyes peeled for anything weird. I settle a mile up, near a creek, still hidden, but less exposed. Park, kill the engine, and check the battery, 55% now. Shit, I'm idling it a bit, hoping to juice it up, when I spot a truck rumbling past, slow, maybe 200 yards off. Old Chevy, mud-caked, 2 guys inside. They don't stop, just cruise by, but I catch him glancing my way. My neck hairs are up, too many eyes out here lately. Back inside, I'm cooking ramen, trying to chill. Sun's dipping, and that sour smell's back, stronger, like something's festering nearby. I check outside, nothing dead, no garbage. It's creepy as hell, sticking to my clothes now. I'm on edge, but I tell myself it's nature, not my problem. Night falls, and I'm locked in, curtains up, flashlight handy. Phone's at 40%, no signal, as usual. Sleep's a no-go. Around midnight, I hear it. Tires on gravel, faint, then louder. My heart's thumping. I peek out, see headlights flickering through the trees, maybe a quarter mile off. They stop, cut out. Silence hits hard, and I'm gripping my flashlight like it's a lifeline. Could be campers, rangers, anyone, but my brain's screaming trouble. I wait, ears straining, and it's quiet too long. Morning's a relief. Batteries at 50%, dropping again. I'm pissed. This van's supposed to be my freedom, not a headache. I decide to hit Lufkin, charge up proper, maybe ask around about weirdos in the woods. I'm rolling out when I notice fresh tire tracks near my spot. Not mine. Too wide. My stomach flips. Someone parked close last night. Those truck guys? I'm starting to hate this trip. Lufkin's a sleepy joint. Gas stations, a diner, old folks eyeballing my van. I plug into a station's outlet. Battery climbs to 70%. Clerk's aboard teen. Says folks hunt out here. Sometimes get rowdy. Stay off private land, she warns. I nod, grab a burger, head back. New spots by the creek again. I'm stubborn, not ready to quit van life over some trash and a bad vibe. Dusk hits, and I'm settled, sipping a soda, when I hear voices, low, rough, carrying through the trees. Maybe 100 yards off, 2 guys, laughing, then quiet. I freeze, kill my light. They're out there, and my van's a sitting duck. I'm crouched, listening, when a twig snaps. Closer, maybe 50 feet. My mouth's dry. Did they see me move in? Night's a slow burn. I don't sleep, just watch. Around 2 a.m., I catch a glow, cigarette cherry, red dot in the dark, moving slow near the creek. Someone's pacing, scouting. My hands shake. I've got no weapon, just a flashlight and a pocket knife I forgot in Dallas. The glow fades, but I'm wired, knowing I'm not alone out here anymore. I'm wide awake, sweaty, staring into the dark after that cigarette glow vanished. It's 3 a.m., and the woods are dead quiet. No crickets, no wind, just my breathing. Battery's at 65%, but I'm too freaked to care. That sour stench is back, thick, like it's seeping through the van walls. I'm clutching my flashlight, wishing I'd brought that damn knife. Someone's out there. I know it, and it's not just paranoia anymore. Dawn creeps in, gray and heavy. I step out, legs shaky, and check around. Tire tracks again, fresh, cutting through the mud by the creek. Then I see it. A deer skull, picked clean, nailed to a pine 20 feet from my van. No blood, no rot, just bone, staring at me. My stomach lurches. This wasn't here yesterday. It's a message, and it's scary as hell. I snap a pic, hands trembling, and climb back inside. I'm pacing, mind racing. Pack up and bounce. Stay and tough it out. Battery's iffy, and Lufkin's my only shot. But I'm spooked. Feels like eyes everywhere. I start the van. Engine grumbles to life. And I'm rolling slow when I hear it. A sharp whistle, long and low, from the trees. I slam the brakes, heart pounding. Glance out, nothing. Then another whistle, closer, mocking. Someone screwing with me. I gun it, gravel spitting, heading for the highway. That's when I see the truck, same muddy Chevy, parked off the road, blocking my path. Two guys lean on it, one stocky, bearded, holding a rifle, the other's lanky, chewing something, grinning. They don't move, just watch. I swerve left, onto a narrower track, and they don't follow, yet. My pulse is through the roof. This is bad, real bad. I'm weaving through pines, branches scraping the van, when the engine sputters, battery's at 50%, draining fast. Come on, you piece of shit. I'm yelling, slamming the dash. It catches, and I keep going. No clue where I'm headed. Then I hear it, tires crunching, loud, behind me. Glance in the mirror. That truck's rolling, slow but steady, headlights off. They're hunting me, and it's disturbing as hell. I hit a clearing, old logging road, rutted but wide. Floor it, van rattling, and they pick up speed. Rifle guys hanging out the window now, shouting something I can't hear over the engine. My phone's dead, no signal anyway, and I'm alone, no backup. They're 100 yards back, then 50, and I'm dodging stumps, praying I don't blow a tire. This is horror, man, straight out of some backwoods nightmare. I spot a side trail, sharp right, and take it. Narrow, overgrown, but it might shake him. Truck's too big to follow fast, and I gain ground, branches smacking the windshield. I'm panting, sweaty, when the engine coughs again, 40% and fading. I coast into a thicket, kill the lights, duck low. Truck rumbles past, slow, then stops maybe 200 yards up. Doors slam. They're out, walking. I hear boots on dirt, voices, gruff, pissed. Where'd he go? One growls. Little rats hide in it. My chest's tight. I'm a goner if they find me. Flashlight beams cut through the trees, sweeping close. I'm curled up, barely breathing, when a beam hits the van, lingers, then moves on. They're 30 feet away, kicking brush, laughing like it's a game. Rifle guy spits, says, "We'll get him tomorrow." They tromp back to the truck, engine fires up, and they roll off. I'm shaking, soaked in sweat, waiting till it's dead quiet again. Battery's at 35%. I've got one shot to move, but I'm paralyzed, knowing they're not done. Something's seriously wrong out here, and I'm smacking it. I'm crouched in the van, shaking like a leaf, those bastards' truck fading into the night. Battery's at 35%, engine's a gamble, but I've got no choice. Gotta move before they double back. I turn the key, sputters once, twice, then catches. I ease out of the thicket, lights off, creeping through the dark. Every snap of a twig's got me jumping, thinking they're lurking. My plan's simple. Hit the highway, find Lufkin, get the hell out. I'm rolling slow, pines closing in, when the battery dips 30%. Engine's wheezing, and I'm cursing myself for not fixing this shit in Dallas. Then I hear it. Tires, faint, growing louder. Headlights flare behind me. That damn Chevy tearing down the trail. My gut drops. They're back, and fast. I slam the gas. Van lurching, branches clawing the sides like hands. They're gaining, 50 yards, 20, and I hear a crack. Rifle shot. Something pings off the bumper, and I swerve, screaming, shit, shit. Another shot. Glass shatters. Rear window's gone. I'm ducking, flooring it, weaving through ruts. Highway's close. I see asphalt glinting ahead. They're right on me, horn blaring. Rifle guy leaning out, taking aim. My life's flashing, man, this is it. I hit pavement, tires squealing, and gun it. Van's maxed at 45, shaking hard. They follow, headlights blinding, but traffic's ahead. 2 cars, then a semi. I weave between them, praying they slow the truck. Horns blast, and I glance back. Chevy stuck behind the semi, losing ground. I'm gasping, sweaty, pushing this dying rig toward Lufkin. Batteries at 20%, warning lights flashing. I roll into town, a gas station's neon glowing like salvation. Skid to a stop, engine coughing, and stumble out. Batteries dead, van's toast. Clerk's that teen from yesterday, wide-eyed as I yell. Call the cops now. She dials, and I'm pacing, checking the road. No truck, but my nerves are shot. Every shadows them. Cops show 10 minutes later, 2 deputies, skeptical but listening. I spill it. Truck, shots, skull on the tree. They take notes, say they'll patrol, but I see him swap looks, like I'm some city nutcase. Van stuck, till morning, no tow tonight. I beg a ride to a motel. Crash there, door bolted, flashlight clutched. Sleep's a joke, every creak's those guys kicking in. Dawn hits, and I'm a wreck, but alive. Mechanic jump-starts the van, alternators toast, $150 fix. I pay, gas up, ready to bolt. Deputies call, no truck found, but they're looking. Yeah, right. I'm peeling out, Lufkin shrinking in my mirrors, when I spot fresh mud on the bumper, not mine. My stomach twists. They were close, maybe last night. I'm flooring it to Dallas, checking every car. Highway's clear, 50 miles, 80, and I'm breathing easier. Dallas skyline's a lifeline, and I'm laughing, shaky, thinking I've made it. Phone's charging, signal's back, and I text my sister. Whole scary story. She's freaking, says crash at hers. I'm almost there, feeling human, when a truck passes, muddy Chevy, bearded guy driving, staring. My blood's ice. He winks, speeds off. I pull over, shaking, watching him vanish. Coincidence? No way. They've got my trail, and I'm not safe yet. Feels like they're playing a long game. I'm 2 exits from Sis's place, and I'm not stopping till I'm inside. I'm at my sister's in Dallas. Van parked out front, spilling the whole mess over coffee. She's pale, says I'm lucky. Cops, truck, shots, all of it. I nod, but I'm rattled. That wink on the highways burned into me. My big screw-up was going solo, half-assing the van, thinking stealth meant safe. Piney Woods chewed me up, and I'm done with that life. Sis says sell the rig. I'm already nodding. Next day, I'm scrubbing it down, listing it online, when I find it. Mud caked inside the wheel well, a cigarette but wedged in. Fresh, smoked down, not mine. My knees buckle. They've been here, at her place. I call the cops, voice cracking. Same story, new clue. They take the butt, say they'll check, but I see the shrugs. No plates, no proof, just my word and a bad feeling. I'm jumping at every noise now, trucks especially. Sell the van cheap to some dude who doesn't care about the dents. He's stoked, says he's hitting East Texas next week. I don't warn him. Selfish, maybe, but I'm drained. Days pass, and I'm crashing at Sis's, avoiding windows. That sour smell's back, faint, in my clothes, my dreams. It's not real, can't be, but it's there. Cops call. No leads, case cold. I'm Googling Piney Woods crimes, missing hunters, weird sightings, nothing solid. My mind's a mess, should have stayed put, fixed the van proper, picked a campground. That's the tragedy. I chased freedom and got a target on my back. Sis says move, but I'm broke, stuck here, waiting. Week later, I'm grabbing mail, and there's a note. No stamp, just my name. Inside, scrawled, see you soon, Van Man. My heart stops. I'm shaking, showing sis, calling cops again. They patrol, find nothing, no truck, no prints. I'm sleeping with a bat now, lights on, jumping at shadows. It's been days, quiet ones, and I'm almost breathing normal. Then I hear it, tires on gravel, 2 a.m., outside. Peek out, muddy Chevy, idling across the street, headlights off. Bearded guys there, smoking, staring at the house. I'm frozen, bat in hand. He flicks the butt, pulls away slow. Cops come. Too late, he's gone. I'm a wreck. Can't eat, can't sleep. Sis is terrified, wants me out, but where? That note, that truck, they've got me marked. My mistake wasn't the trip, it was thinking I could hide. They're out there, patient, and I'm trapped, waiting for the next move. News hits a month later. Van guy I sold to, missing, last seen near Lufkin. Cops call, ask if I know anything. I don't, but I'm sick. Did I pass this curse? Guilt's crushing me, and that sour smell stronger, like it's them, close. I'm done running. Next time, I'll face them, or they'll take me. Nights now, I sit up, bat ready, listening. They're coming. I feel it. Dallas ain't safe. Nowhere is. This ain't over, and I'm the punchline to their sick, disturbing game. I'm Mason Delgado, 27 years old, and I've been grinding it out in Houston, Texas, for the last few years. Big city, big hustle, keeps me sharp, but man, it wears you down. That's why I got my van. A '03 Chevy Express I fixed up on the cheap. Bed, cooler, some solar panels. Basic, but it's my ticket out. Last weekend, I pointed it west to the hill country near Kerrville, about 250 miles away. Stealth camping's my deal. Slipping off the radar, no fees, just me and the road. The drive's smooth. Left Houston at sunrise, blew past San Antonio, then hit those winding hill country roads. By late afternoon, I'm rolling into Kerrville's outskirts. Limestone cliffs, scrubby oaks, air crisp and clean. Found a dirt turnout off FM 1341, near a dry creek bed, hidden by cedars. No signs, no traffic, just peace. I park, shut her down, and pop a water bottle. This is it, my escape. First night's golden. I've got my setup dialed. Curtains up, a little fan buzzing, phone playing some chill tunes. Batteries at 90%, solar's soaking up the last rays. I'm sprawled out, sipping water, feeling like a king. No Houston smog, no horns, just stars peeking through the trees. Then the fan cuts out, battery dips to 85%. Glitchy, but no biggie. I crack the window, let the breeze in, and sack out. I sleep like a rock, but around 4 a.m., I bolt upright. Something's off. Heart's racing, no idea why. Peek outside. Dark as hell, cedars swaying slow. Nothing's there, just that gut punch of unease. I grab my multi-tool, best I've got, and settle back. Too many late-night crime docs. That's my problem. Chuckle at myself, drift off again. Morning's crisp, sun's up, air's cool. I'm outside, heating water for instant coffee, grinning like an idiot. Van's my bunker. Man, love this life. Battery's at 80%, lower than I'd expect, but it'll charge. I hike a bit, dodging prickly pear, snapping pics of the hills. It's rugged out here, wilder than Houston sprawl. I'm hooked already. Back by noon, I'm sweaty, chugging water. Parked same spot, why fix what ain't broke? Then I catch a whiff, sharp, like diesel or burnt plastic. Figure it's the van. Check the engine. Clean, no leaks. Maybe some trash nearby? I poke around, find zip. Shrug it off. Hill country's got its quirks. Second night, I'm cozy, batteries at 75%, fans back on. I'm flipping through a road atlas, plotting tomorrow, when I hear a rustle. Soft, quick, maybe 30 feet off. Freeze, listen, wind, that's all. Cedars creak out here, right? I lock the doors, keep the multi-tool close, and shake it off. Sleep hits fast after that. Day 3, I'm up early, coffee's brewing, batteries at 70%. Still funky, but I've got juice. I'm stoked, thinking about a swim in the Guadalupe River nearby. This Vanlife gig's everything I wanted, quiet, free mind. But something's nagging me, like I'm missing something obvious. Late morning, I'm wiping down the van, and I spot it, a scrap of cloth snagged on a cedar branch, 10 feet away. Blue flannel, torn, fresh, not weathered. I don't wear flannel, and it wasn't there yesterday. My skin crawls, someone's been close. Tell myself it's a hiker's junk, but it's too clean, too new. My brain's already spinning. What's out here with me? Sun's barely cutting through the cedars, and I'm already sweating. Battery's at 70%, but it's acting screwy. Fans cutting out again. I'm outside, messing with the solar hookup, cussing under my breath. Wires look good, panels are clean, but the charge keeps slipping. I'm no expert, but this ain't normal. Gotta jump pack, but it's useless solo. Kerrville's 10 miles off, close, but I hate breaking stealth for this. That flannel scrap's still bugging me. I grab it, turn it over. Clean, smells faintly of sweat, not mine. Someone was here, no doubt. I scan the creek bed, dry, rocky, nothing moves. My stomach's tight, but I tell myself it's some camper, not my problem. Decide to shift spots anyway, find a new turnout, stay sharp. Engine fires up, and I roll slow, watching the trees like they're hiding something. I park a half-mile down, near a rise, still tucked away, but with a better view. Battery's at 65%, damn it. I idle it a bit, hoping to bump it up, when I see a pickup cruise by, maybe 300 yards off. Black Ford, dented, one guy driving, staring my way. He's gone quick, but my pulse spikes. Too much attention out here. I kill the engine, hunker down, wait it out. Back inside, I'm heating soup, trying to relax. Sun's fading, and that diesel stench is back, sharp, biting, like it's right outside. I check, nothing's burning, no spills. It's weird, clings to me like damp. I'm edgy, but figure it's the woods playing tricks. Night drops fast, and I'm locked in, curtains tight, multi-tool on the bed. Phone's at 50%, no bars, as usual. Sleep's dodging me. Around 1 a.m., I hear gravel pop, soft, then steady. Peek out. Headlights flicker way off, maybe a half mile, cutting through the hills. They stop, go dark. My throat's dry. I'm gripping the multi-tool, ears straining. Could be a rancher, sure, but my gut's screaming no. It's quiet too long, and I'm sweating, waiting for something to break. Morning hits. Battery's at 60%, still dropping. I'm pissed. This van's supposed to be my sanctuary, not a headache. I'm torn. Roll to Kerrville. Fix this, or stick it out. Decide to move again. Third spot's the charm, right? I'm cruising when I spot tire tracks near my old pull-off. Fresh, narrow, not mine. My heart skips. Someone's been sniffing around. I settle near a bluff, hidden by junipers, and cook some eggs. It's noon, sun's blazing, and I'm jumpy. Keep glancing at the tracks in my head. Then I hear it, a low hum, like an engine idling, far off but closing. I duck inside, peek out. Nothing yet, just that sound creeping closer. My hands are clammy, feels like I'm being watched. Dusk rolls in, and I'm wired, sipping water, lights off. That hum's gone, but now I hear voices, gruff, clipped, maybe 200 feet away. 2, maybe 3 guys, talking low, then laughing, sharp, mean. I'm frozen, straining to catch words. City boys rig. That's all I get. My blood's cold, they mean me. A branch cracks, closer, 100 feet now. Night's a slow grind. I don't sleep, just listen. Around 3 a.m., I see it, a flashlight beam, quick, cutting through the junipers, maybe 50 yards off. Sweeps past, then gone. My chest's tight. Someone's circling, scoping me out. I'm defenseless, just a multi-tool and a locked door. The beam doesn't come back, but I'm wide awake, knowing I'm not alone anymore. I'm awake all night after that flashlight beam, eyes burning, nerves shot. It's dawn now, gray light seeping through the junipers, and I'm chugging water, trying to shake the jitters. Battery's at 55%, keeps slipping, and I'm too rattled to care. That diesel smells back, heavy, like it's coating the van. I'm clutching my multi-tool, wishing I'd packed something tougher. Houston's never felt so far. I step out, legs wobbly, and check around. Nothing's obvious. Then I see it. A beer bottle, smashed, 15 feet from the van, label still wet. Not mine, I don't drink out here. My stomach flips, someone's screwing with me, and it's fresh. I scan the bluff. Empty, just rocks and scrub. Then I spot scratches on a cedar trunk. New, jagged, like a knife carved in. This ain't random, it's disturbing as hell. I'm pacing, brain spinning. Bail to Kerrville? Risk it here? Battery's dicey, and I'm exposed, gotta move. I start the van. Grumbles, catches, and I'm easing out when I hear a yell. Horse, close, maybe 100 yards off. Hey, Van man. My blood freezes. I slam the gas, tires spinning. Glance back. That black Ford's rolling up the rise. Fast, two guys hanging out, grinning like wolves. I'm hauling us down the dirt track, heart hammering. They're behind me, engine roaring. One's got a crowbar, smacking the truck door, laughing. My van's rattling, battery at 50%, and I'm dodging ruts, praying it holds. They're 200 yards back, then 100, closing quick. This is horror, man, real, sweaty, in-my-face terror. I'm yelling, come on, at the dash like it'll help. I hit a fork, left's tight, right's open. Swerve right, tires screeching, and they follow, tight on my tail. That diesel stench is choking me. Vents are sucking it in. Then I hear a thunk. Something hits the van, dents the side. Crowbar guy's throwing shit now, and I'm weaving, sweating buckets. Kerrville's close. I see rooftops ahead, gotta make it. They're 50 yards back, horn blaring, when I spot a gravel lot. Old gas station, lights on. I skid in, brakes squealing, and they peel past, whooping, disappearing down the road. I'm panting, hands shaking, parked crooked by the pumps. Clerk's an old dude, steps out, squints. Rough night, he drawls. Yeah, some psychos just chased me. I'm hoarse, freaking out. He shrugs, like it's Tuesday. I check the van. Dent's real, batteries at 45%. Engine's still running, barely. Clerk says Kerrville PD's slow, call if I want, but good luck. I'm locked in, curtains up, watching the road. Every truck's them in my head. Black Ford, crowbar, that laugh. Night creeps in, and I'm jumpy, hearing gravel crunch. Real or not, I can't tell. Around midnight, I see headlights, slow, circling the lot, then gone. My gut's screaming. It's them, scoping me. I'm gripping the multi-tool, useless as it is, waiting. They don't stop, but I don't sleep. Can't. Dawn's a lifeline, and I'm alive, but something's wrong, way wrong. These guys know me now, and they're not done. I'm gassing up, mechanics on the way, when I find it, a scribbled note under my wiper. Nice try. My knees buckle. They were here, close, while I sat there. This ain't a game anymore. It's personal, and I'm in deep. I'm shaking, staring at that nice try note, gas pump still in my hand. Batteries at 45%, van's dented, and those psychos are out there, close. Mechanic rolls up, gruff guy, says the alternator's shot, $180 to fix. I nod, frantic, watching the road. Black Ford's nowhere, but my skin's crawling. Feels like they're waiting. I've got to move, get to Houston, ditch this nightmare. Engine sputters to life, and I'm peeling out, Kerrville fading fast. I'm on 290, pushing 50, the van's max, and checking mirrors every second. Batteries dropping, 40%, 35%, and I'm swearing, pounding the wheel. That diesel smells back, faint but real, like it's trailing me. Then I see it, Black Ford, 2 cars back, pacing me. My heart's in my throat. They're here, casual, like they own me. I floor it, weaving through traffic, praying for a cop. They match me, closing in, 100 yards, 50. Crowbar guy's out the window, waving that damn bar, grinning. A horn blares, some SUV cuts between us, and I use it, gunning for an exit. Bander is ahead, small town, people, safety. I swerve off, tires screaming, and they follow, relentless. Batteries at 30%, engine coughing. I'm begging it to hold. I hit Bandera's main drag. A gas station's packed. Perfect. Skid in, park by the crowd, and they cruise past, slow, staring. I'm panting, soaked, ducking low. Clerk's aboard teen, says call the cops if I want. I do, sheriff's deputy shows, listens, takes the note. We'll patrol, he says, but his eyes say I'm nuts. Van's dying, mechanic patched it, but it's temporary. I'm stuck till it's charged. Night falls, and I'm locked in, parked under a streetlight, exposed but safer. Every rumble's them, my head's spinning horror stories, real ones, like that trucker who vanished near here last year. Around 2 a.m., I hear it, slow tires, gravel popping, circling the lot. Peek out, Black Ford, headlights off, idling 50 yards off. Crowbar guys smoking, watching me. I'm frozen, multi-tool in hand, useless. They sit there, 10 minutes, 20, then peel out, taunting. I don't sleep, can't. Dawn breaks. Batteries at 40%. Enough to roll. Deputy calls. No truck spotted. Notes, not enough. I'm gassing up, ready to bolt, when I see tire tracks by my spot. Fresh, narrow. They were here, again, close. I'm on 290, Houston bound. Mirrors clean, but nerves fried. Miles tick by, 50, 100, and I'm calming down. San Antonio's a blur. Houston's skyline looms, and I'm laughing, shaky, thinking I've slipped him. Phone's charging, signals back. I text my roommate, spill the scary mess. He's freaked, says crash at his place. I'm close, feeling free, when a truck passes, black Ford, crowbar guy driving, smirking. My gut drops, he winks, speeds off. I pull over, trembling. He's gone, but they've tracked me this far. Coincidence? Hell no. I'm 20 miles from home, and I'm not stopping till I'm safe. They're playing with me, and I'm still in their sights. I'm at my roommate's in Houston, van parked, spilling the whole damn story over beer. He's wide-eyed, says I'm lucky. Cops, chase, that note. I nod, but I'm wrecked. That wink on 290's haunting me. My screw-up was going solo, half-assing the van, thinking stealth was bulletproof. Hill country broke me, and I'm done. Van's for sale tomorrow. Roomie agrees, says ditch it fast. Next day, I'm cleaning it out, posting pics online. When I find it, a matchbook tucked under the seat, Kerrville logo, fresh. My hands shake. I don't smoke, never had this. They've been in my van, here, in Houston. I call the cops, voice cracking, show him the matchbook, the note. They log it, say they'll look, but I see the doubt. No prints, no proof, just my panic. I sell the van cheap. Guy's thrilled, says he's hitting the hill country soon. I don't warn him. Too drained, too selfish. Days drag, and I'm crashing at roomies, jumping at trucks. That diesel smells back, faint, in my jacket, my nightmares. It's not real, can't be, but it's choking me. Cops call, no leads, case dead. I'm Googling Kerrville crimes, missing campers, weird locals, nothing sticks. I'm a mess, should have stayed put, fixed the van right, picked a real site. That's the tragedy. I chased freedom and got hunted. Roomie says move out, but I'm broke, stuck, paranoid. Week later, mail comes, a Polaroid, no stamp. My van, parked at that first spot, me sleeping inside, timestamped that first night. My knees give, they've had me from day one. I'm sleeping with a bat now, lights on, ears peeled. Cops take the pic, say it's concerning, but no truck, no faces, nothing actionable. Roomie's scared, wants me gone. I hear tires at night, 3 a.m., slow, outside. Peek out, black Ford, idling, crowbar guy smoking, staring up. I'm shaking, bat ready. He flicks the cigarette, rolls off. Cops come, too late, gone again. It's been weeks, quiet ones, and I'm fraying. Can't eat, can't work. Then the news drops. Van buyer's missing, last seen near Kerrville. Cops call. I'm blank, did I doom him? Guilt's a knife, and that diesel stench is stronger, like they're close. I'm done hiding. Next time, I'll fight, or they'll win. Nights now, I sit up, bat in hand, waiting. Houston's no sanctuary, they've got my scent. My mistake wasn't the trip, it was thinking I could vanish. They're patient, and I'm the prey in their sick, disturbing game. I'm Lucas Navarro, 30 years old, and I've been kicking around San Antonio, Texas, for most of my life. It's a good spot, lively, warm, got that Tex-Mex soul, but I've been antsy, needing a break from the grind. That's why I got my van, a 99 GMC Savannah I patched together myself. Bed, propane stove, some solar panels, nothing slick, but it's mine. Last Friday, I aimed north for Palo Duro Canyon, about 450 miles away. Stealth camping's my thing. Sliding under the radar, no fees, just me and the wild. The drive's a haul. Left San Antonio at dawn, pushed through Austin, then hit the long, flat stretch to the Panhandle. By dusk, I'm rolling into canyon country, red rock walls, endless sky, wind howling soft. Found a dirt pull-off near Route 207, tucked behind some junipers. No signs, no lights, just solitude. I park, kill the engine, and crack a Coke. This is freedom, man, pure and simple. First night solid. I've got my setup dialed. Curtains up, a little lamp glowing, phone on shuffle. Batteries at 85%, solar's still kicking from the drive. I'm stretched out, sipping that Coke, feeling untouchable. No city noise, no neighbors, just the canyon whispering outside. Then the lamp flickers, battery dips to 80%. Weird, but I shrug it off. Crack the window, let the cool air in, and crash hard. I'm out cold till 3 a.m. when I snap awake. Pulse racing, no clue why. Peek outside, black void, junipers swaying like ghosts. Nothing's moving, but my gut's tight. Grab my tire iron, closest thing to a weapon, and settle back. Too many late-night podcasts about drifters out here, that's all. I laugh it off, doze off again, tire iron still in hand. Morning's brutal, winds up, dust swirling. I'm outside, brewing coffee on the stove, grinning at the canyon view. Van's my fortress, you know? Batteries at 75%, lower than I'd like, but it'll charge. I hike a trail, dodging tumbleweeds, snapping pics of the gorge. It's raw out here, bigger than San Antonio's bustle. I'm sold on this gig. Back by afternoon, I'm dusty, chugging water. Same spot, why mess with it? Then I catch a whiff, faint, like stale smoke or grease. Figure it's the wind carrying something. Old campfire maybe? Check the van, clean, no issues. Poke around, find nothing. Whatever, planes are weird. Second night, I'm settled, batteries at 70%, lamps steady. I'm scrolling my phone, no signal, but I've got offline maps. When I hear a scrape, sharp, quick, maybe 20 yards off. Freeze, listen, wind again, rattling brush. Junipers play tricks out here, right? I lock the doors, keep the tire iron close, and brush it off. Sleep hits fast. Day 3, I'm up with the sun, coffee's on, batteries at 65%. Still funky, but I've got power. I'm pumped, thinking about hitting the canyon floor today. This Vanlife deals my jam. Open space, no rules. But something's off, like an itch I can't scratch. Wind's too loud, maybe. Late morning, I'm wiping down the van, and I see it. 2 cigarette butts, stomped out, 15 feet away. Not mine, I don't smoke. My skin prickles, weren't there yesterday, and they're fresh, filters still white. Someone's been here, close. Tell myself it's a hiker, but out here? My brain's already churning. Who's creeping around? Wind's howling, kicking dust against the van. Battery's at 65%, and it's bugging me. Keeps dipping even with the solar blazing. I'm outside, checking the setup, muttering to myself. Panels are fine, cable's tight, but the charge won't hold. I'm no tech whiz, but this sucks. Got a spare battery pack, but it's for emergencies. Closest town's canyon, 20 miles off. Not ideal for stealth, but I'm thinking about it. Those cigarette butts are gnawing at me. I grab one. Fresh, smells like ash, not weathered. Someone was here, no question. I scan the junipers. Empty, just wind and red dirt. My chest's tight, but I tell myself it's nothing, some cowboy littering. Decide to move anyway. New spot, fresh start. Engine grumbles to life, and I ease down the dirt, eyes darting for anything off. I park a mile up, near a shallow draw, still hidden, but with a wider view. Battery's at 60%, damn it. I idle it, hoping to bump it, when I spot a truck rolling slow, maybe 400 yards off. Silver Dodge, beat up, one guy inside, glancing my way. He's gone fast, but my nerves twitch, too many eyes for nowhere. I kill the engine, hunker down, wait. Back inside, I'm heating beans, trying to chill. Sun's dropping, and that smoke grease smells back, stronger, like it's drifting close. I check outside, nothing burning, no trash. It's creepy, sticks in my throat. I'm edgy, but figure it's the planes messing with me. Night hits, and I'm locked in, curtains up, tire iron by the bed. Phone's at 40%, no bars, as usual. Sleep's dodging me. Around 2 a.m., I hear it, tires on dirt, low and steady, getting louder. Peek out, headlights flicker through the draw, maybe a half-mile off. They stop, cut out. My pulse is racing. I'm gripping the tire iron, listening hard. Could be ranchers, sure, but my gut's yelling no. Silence stretches, and I'm sweating, waiting for the next move. Morning's a relief. Battery's at 55%, still slipping. I'm pissed. This van's supposed to be my ticket, not a hassle. I'm torn. Hit canyon. Fix this, or tough it out. Decide to roll closer to town. Charge up, stay low. I'm driving when I see tire tracks near my old spot. Fresh, wide, not mine. My stomach flips. Someone parked there last night, real close. I settle near a rise, still off 207, and cook some eggs. It's noon, wind's relentless, and I'm jumpy. Keep picturing those tracks. Then I hear it. A cough, rough, maybe 150 yards off. I freeze, scan, nothing moves, just brush. Call out, "Hey, anyone there?" Voice shakes, no reply. My hands are clammy, feels like I'm being sized up. Dusk creeps in, and I'm wired, sipping water, lights off. That cough's gone, but now I hear a hum. Distant, mechanical, closing in. I duck inside, peek, can't see it yet, just that sound growing. My heart's thumping, someone's out there, and I'm a sitting duck. A light flashes, quick, far off, then gone. My mouth's dry. Did they spot me? Night's a slow burn. I don't sleep, just watch. Around 3 a.m., I catch it, a red glow, cigarette cherry, moving slow near the draw, maybe 60 yards away. Someone's pacing, watching. I'm shaking, no gun, just a tire iron and a locked door. The glow fades, but I'm wide awake, knowing I've got company out here, and it ain't friendly. I'm up all night after that cigarette glow, heart pounding, tire iron sweaty in my grip. Dawn breaks, dusty, cold, and I'm chugging water, trying to shake the dread. Battery's at 50%, keeps dropping, and I'm too freaked to mess with it. That smoke grease smells thick now, like it's seeping in from outside. I'm on edge, scanning the draw. Something's seriously off out here, and I'm feeling it hard. I step out, shaky, and look around. Nothing jumps out. Then I spot it. A rusty nail, hammered into the juniper by my van, fresh gouges in the bark. Not there yesterday. My gut twists. Someone's marking me, and it's scary as hell. I check further, find a candy wrapper, new, 20 feet off. Not mine. This ain't coincidence. It's deliberate, disturbing, and way too close. I'm pacing, mind racing. Bounce to canyon. Stay put. Battery's iffy, and I'm exposed. Gotta roll. I start the van. Sputters, catches, and I'm pulling out when I hear a holler. Loud, rough, maybe 200 yards off. "Hey, camper." My blood's ice. I slam the gas, tires kicking dirt. Glance back. That silver Dodge is cresting the rise. Fast. Two guys up front, staring me down. I'm tearing down the dirt track, pulse hammering. They're on me, engine growling. One's lean, buzz cut, holding a bat. The other's stocky, grinning, revving hard. My van's shaking, battery at 45%, and I'm dodging rocks, begging it to hold. They're 150 yards back, then 100, closing fast. This is horror, man, raw, in my face panic. I'm yelling, "Stay with me," at the van like it's alive. I hit a straight stretch, Route 207's ahead. Floor it, van rattling, and they're right there, 50 yards off. Back guy swings out the window, smacks the truck, laughing, taunting me. That stench is choking me. Vince pulling it in. Then a thunk. Something hits the van, dents the back door. My stomach drops. They're throwing shit now, and I'm swerving, sweating bullets. Canyon's close. I see gas pumps, a diner. I gun for it. They're 30 yards back, horn blaring. Back guy's yelling. "Pull over, city boy." Voice cuts through the wind. I skid into the diner lot, tires screeching, and they blow past, whooping, vanishing down the road. I'm gasping, soaked, parked sloppy by the door. Waitress steps out, frowns. "Trouble?" she asks. "Yeah, some assholes just chased me." I'm hoarse, freaking. She nods, like it's routine. I check the van. Dents real, batteries at 40%. Engine's still alive, barely. Waitress says call the sheriff, but they're slow out here. I'm locked in, curtains up, watching the lot. Every truck's them in my head. Silver Dodge, bat, that grin. Night falls, and I'm twitching, hearing engines. Real or not, I can't tell. Around 1 a.m., headlights sweep the lot. Slow, deliberate, then cut out. My chest's tight. Peek out, see a shadow by the pumps. Lean, smoking. Buzz cut. Too dark to know, but my gut's screaming. I'm gripping the tire iron, barely breathing. He paces, stops, stares my way. Doesn't move closer, just watches, like he's got all night. They're gone by dawn. I'm alive, but rattled. Battery's at 35%, diner's open, and I'm chugging coffee, planning my exit. Then I see it, scratched into the van's paint. run. My knees buckle. They were here, inches away, while I sat there. This ain't random. It's personal, and I'm in deep shit. I'm trembling, staring at that run scratched into the van, coffee sloshing in my hand. Batteries at 35%, dented doors a badge of last night, and those bastards are circling, close. Waitress calls a mechanic, says it's the battery cable's $100 fix. I'm nodding, frantic, eyes glued to the lot. No silver Dodge yet, but my nerves are screaming. They're near. Engine coughs to life. And I'm out of here, San Antonio or bust. I hit I-27 south, pushing 45, van shaking, battery dropping to 30%. I'm checking mirrors nonstop, that smoke grease smell creeping in like a ghost. Then I see it, silver Dodge, 3 cars back, pacing me. My heart's pounding. They're here, calm as hell, like they've got me pinned. I weave through traffic, praying for distance, but they stick, relentless. They're closing 100 yards, 50, and bat guys out the window, swinging that damn bat, grinning. A semi cuts in, gives me a gap. I floor it, engine whining, battery at 25%. Then a crack, something smashes the rear window, glass sprays. I duck, yelling shit. They're throwing rocks now, aiming to cripple me. Amarillo's ahead, lights, people. I've got to make it. I skid into a truck stop, tires screeching, parked by the pumps, crowded, safe. They roll past, slow, buzz cut staring me down, bat tapping the door. I'm panting, soaked. Clerk's an old guy, says call the cops. I do, sheriff's deputy shows, takes my story, the run scratch. Well look, he grunts, but his vibe says I'm overreacting. Van's dying, mechanic patched it, but it's limping. Night hits, and I'm locked in, parked under floodlights, exposed but covered. Every rumbles them. My brain's replaying scary panhandle tales, like that hitchhiker who vanished last summer. Around 2 a.m., I hear tires, slow, circling the lot. Peek out, silver Dodge, headlights off, idling 60 yards away. Back guy's smoking, watching me. I'm gripping the tire iron, frozen. He doesn't move, just stares. They sit there, 15 minutes, then peel out, taunting. I don't sleep, can't. Dawn breaks, batteries at 30%, enough to roll. Deputy calls, no truck found. Keep moving. I'm gassing up, ready to bolt, when I spot fresh dirt on the bumper, not mine. My stomach drops. They were here, close, last night. I'm on I-27, San Antonio bound. Mirrors clean, but panic high. Miles stack up, 100, 200, and I'm easing up. Lubbock's a blur, San Antonio's calling, and I'm laughing, shaky, thinking I've dodged them. Phone's charging, signal's back. I text my cousin, spill the horror. He's freaked, says crash at his place. I'm close, feeling alive, when a truck passes, silver Dodge, stocky guy driving, smirking. My blood's cold. He nods, speeds off. I pull over, shaking. He's gone, but they've trailed me this far. Random? No chance. I'm 50 miles from home, and I'm not stopping till I'm safe. They're toying with me, and I'm still in their game. I'm at my cousin's in San Antonio, van parked, unloading the whole damn mess over tacos. He's stunned, says I'm lucky. Cops, chase, that run scratch. I nod, but I'm wrecked. That nod on I-27's looping in my head. My screw-up was going alone, skimping on the van, thinking stealth was armor. Palo Duro broke me, and I'm done. Van's hitting the market tomorrow. Cousin agrees, says sell it quick. Next day, I'm hosing it down, posting it online. When I find it, a spent shotgun shell, wedged under the seat, fresh brass. My hands shake. I don't shoot, never had this. They've been in my van, here, in San Antonio. I call the cops, voice cracking, show the shell, the scratch. They log it, say they'll check, but I see the shrugs. No plates, no proof, just my fear. I sell the van cheap. Buyer stoked, says he's hitting the panhandle next month. I don't warn him. Too burned out, too selfish. Days crawl, and I'm crashing at cousins, flinching at trucks. That smoke grease smells back, faint, in my shirt, my dreams. It's not real, can't be, but it's suffocating. Cops call, no leads, case cold. I'm Googling panhandle crimes, missing rigs, odd drifters, nothing solid. I'm a shell, should have stayed home, fixed the van right, picked a campground. That's the tragedy. I chased solitude and got stalked. Cousin says move, but I'm tapped, Stuck, paranoid. Week later, mail drops, a note, no stamp. Good run, camper. My legs give, they've got me tagged, still playing. I'm sleeping with a crowbar now, lights on, ears sharp. Cops take the note, say it's troubling, but no truck, no faces, dead end. Cousin's edgy, wants me out. I hear tires, 4 a.m., slow outside. Peek out, silver Dodge, idling across the street, buzz cut smoking, staring up. I'm trembling, crowbar ready. He flicks the butt, rolls off. Cops come, too late, gone again. Weeks limp by, and I'm unraveling. Can't sleep, can't think. Then the news hits. Van buyer's missing, last seen near Palo Duro. Cops call. I'm blank. Did I curse him? Guilt's a weight, and that stench is stronger, like they're near. I'm done running. Next time, I'll swing, or they'll take me. Nights now, I sit up, crowbar in hand, waiting. San Antonio's no haven. They've got my trail. My mistake wasn't the trip, it was thinking I could slip away. They're patient, and I'm the mark in their twisted, disturbing hunt. I'm Sofia Reyes, 28 years old, and I've been hanging tough in El Paso, Texas, for the last 6 years. It's dry, rugged, got that border vibe, but I've been craving something different, a taste of freedom. That's why I got my van. A 01 Toyota Sienna I rigged up myself. Bed, cooler, some solar panels, bare bones, but it's home. Last Tuesday, I aimed southeast for the Gulf Coast near Corpus Christi, about 600 miles off. Stealth camping's my style, slipping into the shadows, no fees, just me and the open. The drive's a beast. Left El Paso at sunup, burned through San Antonio, then hit the coastal flats. By nightfall, I'm rolling into Mustang Island's outskirts. Salt air, marshy flats, wind whipping soft. Found a sandy pull-off near the dunes, tucked behind some sea oats. No signs, no lights, just waves crashing faint. I park, kill the engine, and pop a soda. This is it, my break from the grind. First night smooth. I've got my setup tight, curtains up, a little fan humming, phone on low. Batteries at 90%, solar's still warm from the day. I'm sprawled out, sipping that soda, feeling like I've cracked life wide open. No desert heat, no noise, just the Gulf breathing outside. Then the fan stutters, battery dips to 85%. Odd, but I let it slide. Crack the window, let the salty breeze in, and crash out. I'm dead asleep till 2 a.m. when I jolt awake, heart thumping, no reason why. Peek outside, black as tar, dunes hulking in the dark. Nothing stirs, but I'm uneasy. Grab my wrench, best I've got, and settle back. Too many creepy coastal tales rattling in my head. That's all. I snort at myself, drift off, wrench still close. Morning's muggy, sun's up, air's thick. I'm outside, heating coffee on my stove, grinning at the waves. Van's my castle, you know? Battery's at 80%, lower than I'd hope, but it'll charge. I wander the beach, dodging jellyfish, snapping pics of the shore. It's wild here, wet, alive, nothing like El Paso's dust. I'm all in. Back by noon, I'm sticky, chugging water. Same spot. Why mess with perfection? Then I catch it, a whiff of something rank, like fish gone bad or oil. Figure it's the tide. Check the van, nothing's off. Poke around, find zilch. Shrug it off, coast stinks sometimes. Second night, I'm cozy, batteries at 75%, fan steady. I'm flipping through a beat-up paperback when I hear a splash. Sharp, close, maybe 30 yards off. Freeze, listen, waves, that's it. Dunes shift out here, right? I lock the doors, keep the wrench handy, and let it go. Sleep hits quick. Day 3, I'm up early, coffee's brewing, batteries at 70%. Still glitchy, but I've got juice. I'm stoked, thinking about fishing today. This van life deals my escape, raw, free mind. But something's nagging me, like a hum I can't place. Late morning, I'm tidying up, and I spot it. 3 bottle caps, rusted but fresh, scattered 10 feet from the van. Not mine, I drink soda, not beer. My skin crawls, weren't there yesterday. Someone's been here, close. Tell myself it's beach trash, but it's too neat, too new. My brain's already spinning. Who's out here with me? Day 3 slams me with humidity, sweat's dripping, and I'm cursing the battery at 70%. It's acting up, fans cutting out, even with sun blasting the panels. I'm outside, fiddling with wires, growling to myself. Everything's solid, but the charge keeps slipping. I'm no mechanic, but this is bullshit. Gotta jump pack, but it's no help alone. Corpus Christi's 20 miles off, doable, but I hate breaking stealth. Those bottle caps are eating at me. I grab one. Fresh rust, smells faintly of beer. Someone was here, no doubt. I scan the dunes. Empty, just sand and grass. My gut's twisting, but I shake it off. Probably some drunk fisherman. Decide to shift spots, find a new pull-off, stay sharp. Engine starts, and I creep along, watching the marsh like it's hiding something. I park a half-mile up, near a tidal flat, still hidden, but less boxed in. Battery's at 65%, damn it. I idle it, hoping to juice it, when I see a Jeep roll by, slow, maybe 300 yards off. Green, rusted, two guys inside, peering my way. They're gone quick, but my neck's prickling. Too much attention out here. I kill the engine, duck low, wait. Back inside, I'm heating rice, trying to unwind. Sun's fading, and that rank smells back, stronger, like oil and rot mixed. I check, nothing's dead, no spills. It's nasty, clings to me. I'm tense, but figure it's the flats, swamps reek, right? Night drops, and I'm locked in, curtains tight, wrench on the bed. Phone's at 50%, no signal, standard. Sleep's a fight. Around 1 a.m., I hear tires, soft, grinding sand, getting closer. Peek out. Headlights flicker through the dunes, maybe a quarter mile off. They stop, go dark. My throat's dry. I'm clutching the wrench, ears straining. Could be campers, sure, but my gut's yelling trouble. Silence drags, and I'm sweating, waiting. Morning's a break. Battery's at 60%, still dropping. I'm mad. This van's my lifeline, not a pain. Torn. Hit Corpus. Fix this, or stick it out. Decide to move again. Third spot's gotta be safe. I'm rolling when I spot tire tracks near my old pull-off. Fresh, deep, not mine. My heart skips. Someone parked close last night, real close. I settle near a jetty, still off the grid, and cook some eggs. It's noon, sun's scorching, and I'm jumpy. Keep replaying those tracks. Then I hear it. A laugh, low and rough, maybe 200 yards off. I freeze, scan, nothing but dunes. Yell, who's there? Voice cracks, no answer. My hands are sweaty, feels like I'm being watched. Dusk hits, and I'm wired, sipping soda, lights off. That laugh's gone, but now I hear a hum. Distant, growing, like an engine. I duck inside, peek, can't see it, just that sound closing in. My pulse is racing, someone's out there, and I'm exposed. A splash, closer, 50 yards, then quiet. My mouth's parched, did they see me? Night's a grind. I don't sleep, just listen. Around 3 a.m., I catch it, a flashlight beam, quick, cutting through the oats, maybe 40 yards off. Sweeps past, then gone. I'm shaking, no gun, just a wrench and a locked door. The beam doesn't return, but I'm awake, knowing I've got company, and it's bad news. I'm up all night after that beam, eyes gritty, nerves fried. Dawn's gray, humid, heavy, and I'm chugging water, trying to calm down. Battery's at 55%, keeps sliding, and I'm too spooked to care. That rank smells choking now, like it's inside the van. I'm gripping the wrench, scanning the jetty. Something's wrong, real wrong, and I'm stuck in it. I step out, legs wobbly, and check around. Nothing obvious. Then I see it. A fishhook, fresh, jabbed into the sand by my door, line still attached. Not mine. I fish, but not here. My stomach lurches. Someone's marking me, and it's creepy as hell. I look closer. Tire tracks, new, curving 30 yards off. This ain't random. It's deliberate, and it's close. I'm pacing, brain buzzing. Bail to Corpus? Stay and fight it. Battery's shaky, and I'm wide open. Gotta move. I start the van. Grumbles, catches, and I'm rolling when I hear a shout. Gruff, sharp, maybe 150 yards off. Hey girl. My blood freezes. I slam the gas, sand flying. Glance back. That green Jeep's cutting through the dunes. Fast. Two guys up front, leering. I'm hauling ass along the shore, heart slamming. They're behind me, engine roaring. One's wiry, sunburnt, holding a machete. The other's bulky, laughing, gunning it. My van's rattling, battery at 50%, and I'm dodging driftwood, begging it to hold. They're 200 yards back, then 100, closing quick. This is horror, man, real, sweaty terror. I'm screaming, "Come on," at the dash. I hit a paved stretch, road to Corpus ahead. Floor it, van shaking, and they're right there, 50 yards off. Machete guys waving it, yelling something lost in the wind. That stench is gagging me, Vince sucking it in. Then a thud, something bangs the side, dents it. My gut drops, they're chucking shit, and I'm swerving, soaked. Corpus looms, lights, a gas station. I gun for it. They're 30 yards back, horn blaring. Machete guy hollers, "Stop running, sweetie." Voice cuts through. I skid into the lot, brakes squealing, and they peel past, cackling, vanishing into the dark. I'm gasping, drenched. Clerk's aboard guy steps out. "Problem?" he asks. "Yeah, some freaks just chased me." I'm raspy, freaking. He shrugs, like it's normal. I check the van. Dents real, batteries at 45%. Engine's alive, barely. Clerk says call the cops, but they're useless out here. I'm locked in, curtains up, watching the road. Every Jeep's them in my head. Green, machete, that laugh. Night creeps in, and I'm twitching, hearing sand shift. Real or not, I can't tell. Around midnight, headlights sweep the lot. Slow, deliberate, then gone. My chest tight. Peek out, see a shadow by the pumps. Wiry, smoking. Machete guy? Too dark, but my gut's screaming. I'm clutching the wrench, holding my breath. He paces, stops, stares my way. Doesn't come closer, just watches, like he's got time. They're gone by dawn. I'm alive, but a wreck. Batteries at 40%, clerk's open, and I'm plotting my escape. Then I find it, a scratched "CU" on the van's bumper. My legs buckle. They were here, inches away, while I sat there. This ain't a prank, it's personal, and I'm screwed. I'm shaking, staring at that "CU." Gas nozzle trembling in my hand. Batteries at 40%, dented sides a warning, and those psychos are out there, near. Clerk calls a mechanic, says it's the battery draining, $120 fix. I'm nodding, frantic, eyes on the road. No green Jeep yet, but my skin's crawling. They're waiting. Engine sputters, and I'm gone, El Paso or nothing. I'm on 358 north, pushing 50, vans rattling, battery dropping to 35%. Mirrors are my lifeline, that rank smell creeping in like a threat. Then I see it, green Jeep, 4 cars back, pacing me. My heart's in my throat. They're here, cool as hell, like they own me. I weave through traffic, praying for a gap, but they stick, unshakable. They're closing, 100 yards, 50, and machete guys out the window, swinging that blade, grinning. A truck cuts in, gives me room. I floor it, engine whining, battery at 30%. Then a bang, something smashes the back door, dents it deeper. I duck, yelling no. They're throwing shit, aiming to stop me. San Antonio's ahead, lights, safety. I've got to hold on. I hit a truck stop outside town, skid in, park by the pumps, busy, secure. They cruise past, slow, bulky guy staring, machete tapping the window. I'm panting, soaked. Clerk's a grizzled dude, says call the cops. I do, deputy shows, takes the "CU," my story. We'll patrol, he says, but his tone's flat. Van's fading, mechanic patched it, but it's temporary. Night falls, and I'm locked in, parked under lights, exposed but safer. Every rumbles them, my head spinning coastal horror tales, like that boat crew lost near here last year. Around 2 a.m., I hear tires, slow, circling the lot. Peek out, green Jeep, headlights off, idling 70 yards off. Machete guy smoking, watching me. I'm frozen, wrench in hand. He doesn't move, just stares. They sit there, 20 minutes, then roll out, taunting. I don't sleep, can't. Dawn hits, batteries at 35%, enough to move. Deputy calls, no Jeep spotted, keep driving. I'm gassing up, ready to run, when I see fresh sand on the tires, not mine. My stomach sinks. They were here, close, last night. I'm on I-10, El Paso bound, mirrors clean but panic high. Miles pile up, 100, 200, and I'm easing up. San Antonio's behind me. El Paso's pulling me home, and I'm laughing, shaky, thinking I've slipped him. Phone's charging, signal's back. I text my brother, spill the terror. He's freaked, says crash at his place. I'm close, feeling free, when a Jeep passes, green, wiry guy driving, smirking. My blood's ice. He waves, speeds off. I pull over, trembling. He's gone, but they've tracked me this far. Luck? Hell no. I'm 80 miles from home, and I'm not stopping till I'm inside. They're playing me, and I'm still in their sights. I'm at my brother's in El Paso, van parked, unloading the whole damn nightmare over coffee. He's pale, says I'm lucky. Cops, chase, that see you. I nod, but I'm trashed. That wave on I-10 stuck in my skull. My mistake was going solo, half-assing the van, thinking stealth was a shield. The Gulf chewed me up, and I'm out. Van's for sale tomorrow. Bro agrees, says ditch it fast. Next day, I'm scrubbing it down, posting it online, when I find it. A fishing lure, hooked under the seat, fresh line tangled. My hands shake. I don't use lures, never had this. They've been in my van, here, in El Paso. I call the cops, voice breaking, show the lure, the see you. They log it, say they'll look, but I see the doubt. No plates, no proof, just my dread. I sell the van cheap. Buyer's pumped, says he's hitting the coast soon. I don't warn him. Too wrecked, too selfish. Days drag, and I'm crashing at bros, jumping at Jeeps. That rank smells back, faint, in my hair, my nightmares. It's not real, can't be, but it's choking me. Cops call, no leads, case dead. I'm Googling Gulf crimes, missing rigs, weird locals, nothing fits. I'm a ghost, should have stayed put, fixed the van right, picked a campground. That's the tragedy. I chased peace and got hunted. Bro says move, but I'm broke, stuck, paranoid. Week later, mail comes, a note, no stamp. Sweet dreams, Sophia. My knees give, they know my name, still playing. I'm sleeping with a bat now, lights on, ears sharp. Cops take the note, say it's concerning, but no Jeep, no faces, nothing. Bro's tense, wants me gone. I hear tires, 3 a.m., slow outside. Peek out, green Jeep, idling across the street, bulky guy smoking, staring up. I'm shaking, bat ready. He flicks the butt, rolls off. Cops come, too late, gone again. Weeks crawl, and I'm unraveling. Can't eat, can't breathe. Then the news drops. Van buyer's missing, last seen near Corpus. Cops call. I'm numb. Did I pass this hell? Guilt's crushing, and that stench is stronger, like they're close. I'm done running. Next time, I'll swing, or they'll win. Nights now, I sit up, bat in hand, waiting. El Paso's no refuge. They've got my scent. My mistake wasn't the trip, it was thinking I could hide. They're patient, and I'm the prey in their sick, disturbing game.